Week 14 kicks off in the nation's capital. A well-rested RedBlacks team welcomes the Tiger Cats to town, who have had a massive 3 days off since their loss to the Argonauts. It is Ottawa and Hamilton coming up on Friday Night Football.
I'm tired of waiting, I'm running out of patience. I'm about to make my move right now. I'm about to make my move right now. I'm tired of waiting, I'm running out of patience. I'm about to make my move right now. I'm about to make my move right now. Yeah, I can, yeah, I'm straight for the top. Put on the gas, yeah, that's the throttle. I get the smash cause I get the model. You do the man cause I get the mom. Change the lanes in my bottle.
Tyrese McAllister, touchdown Hamilton, 64 yards. Touchdown Tiger Cats, as Duke gets his first in black and gold. Kyle Loxley's got some running room to the end zone. Yes!
Snap a 5-game slide. Dustin Crum and the RedBlacks, coming off the bye, they have had 11 days to prepare for their third meeting with these Hamilton Tiger Cats. Taylor Powell, meanwhile, no time to think about their Labor Day loss to their arch rivals, the Toronto Argonauts, on Monday. Back on the field just 4 days later. It is the third meeting between these two teams. Hamilton getting the better of Ottawa in both of those. Let's see if we can make it 3 straight, or if Ottawa can snap their slide. It's Friday Night Football on TSN. Kate Bernass alongside Dave Naylor, Jim Barker, Milt Stiegel. Limited time before kickoff. Your matchup for tonight, Dave?
I'm going Hamilton quarterback Taylor Powell and the Ottawa secondary. The much maligned Ottawa secondary. They gave up a lot of yards to Caleb Evans. They gave up a lot of yards to Trey Ford, and they got Justin Howell in at the second. He's going to play safety tonight instead of Alonzo Dye. A little more experience at the back end tonight.
Well, to me, the only matchup is the energy and enthusiasm of a team in a must-win situation at home against a team that played 3 days ago and lost the toughest game they have all year, the Labor Day Classic.
Well, for me, it's Dustin Crum. Remember when he was having all that success? It was because he was able to run the ball. These last 5 games, that hadn't been the case. He's playing against a tired Tiger Cat team. Will he be able to run the ball against these linebackers and Edwards and Thurman and Simone Lawrence? I think that's going to be their reason they win this game, if he's able to do that.
We can all agree, too, the RedBlacks need this one tonight.
What?
It's essentially season over, right? If they
6 games left, and every team they're playing is over 500.
They got to have it.
If they don't win this one, they've lost the season series already to Hamilton. So it's a must-win in my book.
When you put those dynamics around, it's going to be tough to build hope off a loss tonight.
Yep.
Well, we'll see if they can build off the hope or the Tiger Cats get back on track. We'll get you to Ottawa next.
Thank you, Kate. There's a hint of fall in the air here at TD Place in Ottawa as we get set for the third and final meeting between the Tiger Cats and the RedBlacks. Ottawa does trail by 2 points in the standings, and yet Hamilton, despite that, and they've won the season series too, Dwayne, are coming off just 3 days rest. A real opportunity for Ottawa, a team loaded with ex-Ticats, by the way. The latest to suit up for them, Braylon Addison.
Yeah, Braylon Addison made his return to the lineup in Ottawa's last outing. This is a guy who had over 1,200 yards receiving for Hamilton in the 2019 season, as he was the number 2 option in their offense behind the league's most outstanding player that season, Brandon Banks. Hamilton now finds himself with this guy, an emerging star, Terry Godwin, looking to be their number 2 in that receiving corps, starting to break out behind Tim White in that Tiger Cats offense.
Orlando Steinauer has never lost to the Ottawa RedBlacks as the head coach of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. 9 straight wins, perfect record of 9-0 as a head coach against Ottawa. And Bob Dice, remember they were 3-3 after a couple of big overtime wins, 5 straight losses since then, trying to get back in the win column and to get tied for points anyway in these standings with the Ticats again for 3rd in the division. Tyreek McAllister Little moment of rest there before taking this opening kickoff. Rest, the big difference here. The Red Blacks have had 11 days. Played in Edmonton 12 days ago, and it was Labor Day Monday. The Ticats playing just earlier this week in their loss to the Argos. Friday night football in Week 14 is underway from Ottawa here on TSN. McAllister has it. He gets a cup across the 35 before he is taken down around the 38-yard line. And on comes Taylor Powell for his 6th CFL start, his first against the Ottawa RedBlacks.
Yeah, Taylor Powell 1-4 thus far, but seems like he's starting to find his way. You see that growth that you want from a young quarterback game by game. For him, one of the things that stands out when you look at his numbers, over 70% completion rate, so doing a pretty good job taking care of the football.
Yeah, Powell 30 of 42. 296, 3 touchdown passes, 1 pick. Statistically, even in that loss to the Argos Monday, his best CFL start in his young career. 1st and 10 from the Hamilton 37. We're underway, and throwing to the right away. A short pass to Keandre Smith up at the 40, and he's out of bounds at around the 43. So we look at that Ticat starting offense.
And as we take a look at that offensive line, new old addition of sorts. Jordan Murray rejoins the Tiger Cats. He steps in at right tackle this week in the receiving corps. Omar Bayless is in. Duke Williams sits out at slot this week.
The absence of Williams, shrouded in mystery, did hurt his ankle in that game on Monday, and sitting out this one tonight, in fact, put on the 6th game. So Bayless in motion going to the left. It's handed off to James Butler. And the Ottawa RedBlacks with the top rush defense in the Canadian Football League all season long, and it's ex-Ticat Javon Santos-Knox in on that.
Yeah, stacking this up in a hurry. You see Santos-Knox right in the middle of the action. Ticats failed to get a body up to him on the 2nd level. He comes up making the play on James Butler.
So 2 and out for the Ticats. Corey Vedvik is back, standing just inside his 30 to punt it away. A lone returner, it's Brandon Dandridge, recently returned from injury for the RedBlacks. He is a punt return touchdown this season. Takes it at the 10 and tries to spin around and go to his right. There's nothing there as the Ticats get him all hemmed up. So Dustin Crum for his 8th CFL start coming on now and deep in Ottawa's zone.
Yeah, and there's obviously some symmetry here between these 2 young quarterbacks, guys who have been pressed into action fairly early in their careers. Similarities as you look at their statistics as well, both records, but in terms of the overall numbers. Same message applies in terms of growth is one of the big things that you look for. Obviously, there are going to be ups and downs along the way, and Dustin Crum has experienced that. Just seems like a lot of the highs came at the start of his tenure as the Red Blacks starting QB.
I was going to say, Dwayne, for completion percentage with at least 100 passes, the top 2 are in this game tonight in Crum and Powell. So on the ground there, and that's their feature running back, Devontae Williams, on that carry. Ottawa's offense.
Yeah, and taking a look at this offensive line, they've had some continuity there. That right tackle spot, the one place where they've had some change. Dante Bull, the #1 overall pick in the draft, has started the last couple of games for them. Nate Bahar, the Carleton product, returns after a 1-game injury absence. Something of a security blanket for Dustin Crum has been his role within this offense.
Bahar had an Achilles injury and missed that game 12 days ago, the last time they played in Edmonton. So here we go on 2nd and 7 with time to into coverage, intercepted. Stavros Katsantonis. Coverage was excellent by the Ticats there as it fluttered into Katsantonis, who has his 3rd interception of the season. Just had a pick on Monday against the Argos as well. Crum had time. Ticats had it red. Hamilton football in Ottawa's zone at the 41.
And there you see the Ticat secondary reviewing what they saw in that opening drive, including Stavros Katsantonis. As you see where the safety is lined up, about 20 yards from the line of scrimmage. The other 11 defenders, all within about 7-8 yards of the line of scrimmage. I'm not sure if in this instance Dustin Crum just wasn't aware that Katsantonis was over top into that weak side of the field. Maybe lost track of him because of where he was lined up prior to the start of the play, but a relatively easy pick for the third-year safety out of UBC.
As mentioned, number 3 on the season for Katsantonis. And so the Ticats start in the Ottawa zone. Red Black 41 for Taylor Powell. Their second possession. Their first, they went 2 and out. On the ground to James Butler. He breaks it left, and he's got some good yardage in there inside the 35. And depending on the spot there, it'll be a 2nd and short coming up, very short for the Ticats.
Yeah, nice jump cut to the outside for Butler, lowers the shoulder. Big collision. You saw Abdul Kenneth sort of ejected out of there on contact.
James Butler last week was Monday. This week earlier, 11 carries for 63 yards after a big game in his old stomping grounds of BC play. So it's a 2nd and 1, and Powell will drop back and pass. Coverage is good again for the Red Blacks. Dandridge back there as well with Cariel Brooks. The intended receiver was Terry Godwin, falling incomplete, and now a 3rd down and short.
And you see how everyone's kind of tight in the initial alignment for Hamilton. Showing that sneak look in 2nd and short, and then sending Godwin in motion. Had a little bit of a jump start on the route. But Brandon Dandridge, who's been such an important defender for Ottawa, making the play.
So they have that extra down to play with now, needing a first down. Kyle Loxley in short yardage and didn't need much. Looks like he has it down to the Ottawa 30. And a first down for the Ticats and a challenge for this Red Black defense.
And as we look at the defense, obviously some familiar faces for Ticat fans. Former Ticat Lorenzo Malden is at defensive end. Former Hamilton Tiger Cat Javon Santos Knox starting at middle linebacker. Longtime former Ticat Cariel Brooks starting at the boundary halfback spot for these Ottawa Red Blacks.
And you got Ackland and Addison on offense. General manager as well, Sean Burke. Lots of ex-Ticats with this Ottawa team. High snap and shotgun, handing it off to Butler. And driving on first down to get it down to about the 25 of the Red Blacks. 5 yards more for Butler.
And interesting to note, Rod, as you said off the top, as we take a look at free safety Justin Howell, Ottawa's run defense has been very good this year, but Hamilton, their best offensive outing was when they were committed to the run against BC. They seem to be coming out with that mindset here that they're going to go strength against strength against the Red Blacks to start this game.
On 2nd and 5, they do throw. Slant route for Godwin, who wants a call. Dandridge on him, but no flag is out, and it looks like a 3rd down and a field goal situation coming up here now.
Yeah, looking for the quick hitter here. Godwin unable to get solid inside position. Pretty well timed play there by Dandridge. Some contact with the arm, but Orlando Steinauer, former defensive back in this league, I think recognizes that that's probably a pretty good defensive play.
Mark Leggio on Monday was 2 for 3, longest 37. This one from 32. Up and through. He's 25 of 30 on the year, and the first points on the board go to the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who won 9 straight against the Red Blacks, and the first 2 this season as well. A 3-0 lead. Dustin Crum, we first got a look at him back in week 5 when he came off the bench for the injured Jeremiah Masoli. Ran for 91 yards, Dwayne, and nearly led them to at least a chance to tie it in the final play of the game. Just fell short.
Yeah, big scramble. Chris Edwards with the tackle on that one, and a close finish in his second game against Hamilton, his first start against the Tiger Cats here. Stopped on a winning drive just short of the goal line.
Within the dying seconds, and they got down to the 4. So they've had 2 dramatic finishes, but on the losing side of both against these Ticats. So Hamilton has won the season series. All important, these teams in the same division. And Hamilton with a 2-point lead for 3rd. They just keep it on the ground there for Williams. And here's a look at Hamilton's starting defense tonight.
And up front, of course, the veteran Ted Laurent drawing a strong season thus far for the Tiger Cats. Chris Edwards at that nickel linebacker spot has been highly productive. And on the back end, Richard Leonard came into the game leading the team in interceptions with 3, now tied by Stavros Katsantonis, who had a pick on Ottawa's last offensive possession.
2nd and 7 at the Ottawa 43. RedBlacks trail by 3. Here's Williams left side. First down and more. Across midfield. Katsantonis has a hold of him, but he gives him a bit of a ride as he gets down inside the Hamilton 45. A 23-yard pickup for Devontae Williams.
Yeah, well-timed and well-executed draw here from the 2-back set. You see the double team up to second level from center and left guard. Little help from the fullback getting up there as well. Devontae Williams showing some burst on that play.
So 23 yards and into Ticat territory at the 44 and a first down here quickly. And setting up the double pass in behind. Deep ball nearly intercepted by Richard Leonard, intended there for Nate Bahar as they got it to Justin Hardy and in behind and tried to do what A.J. Ouellette did to the Ticats back on Monday. As you recall, Ouellette's touchdown pass that he had to Dejan Brissett on Labor Day.
And you'll see Bahar's lined up outside. Hardy, the other receiver, is coming across in motion. Hardy is going to take that bubble screen. It's a lateral, as you saw. Ball traveling backwards away from the line of scrimmage. Richard Leonard wasn't going to be fooled on this one.
2nd and 10 now. It's Williams again. Gets it in space, still on his feet. And Justin Williams, or Devontae Williams with a big carry after the catch to get it down deep into Ticat territory.
And you see Williams bursting out to the right. Great job blocking by the receivers. Jalen Acklin had a nice kick out there. Braylon Addison as well had the block in to create a lane for Williams for that big gain. RedBlacks running back, who's been one of the bright spots so far in the tough season for Ottawa.
Midway through the first quarter, good so far for Devontae Williams. Play fake to him, and then Crum just throws it away. Just grounds that, and a 2nd and 10 coming up here from the Ticat 17.
Yeah, with Casey Sales and Trey Crawford bearing down from that Tiger Cats defensive line. Crum didn't like what he saw. Just elects to preserve the field position in this instance. It was Sales who batted down that late pass attempt that would have given Ottawa the win last time these two teams met here at TD Place.
That was back in week 8, 6 weeks ago. 3-man rush now in 2nd and 10 for Crum. He's running now, and well, he takes a hit from Simone Lawrence, and he just spun around. It looked for a moment like he'd consider sliding, but he did stay up on his feet, and he gets it down inside the 10 and close to a first down.
Yeah, keep an eye on Trey Crawford here, the defensive end towards the bottom of your screen. It looked like he might get there. He makes a nice move to sort of dip around. But good job by the guard, Jacob Ruby, to pop out and help his tackle. That gives Crum the opportunity to escape up the middle.
3rd down and short, and their short yardage QB, Tyrell Pigram, is come on now. In the score zone inside the 20, RedBlacks have moved it down with a chance to take the lead if they can find the end zone. It's a 3rd down and 1. Goes right side. He gets it. 1st and goal coming up here for the Ottawa RedBlacks. And another good example of Pegram's prowess in short yardage.
Yeah, just sliding a little bit to the right. Hits this one running. Sees a gap he can get through and goes airborne to pick up the necessary yardage.
The rookie who started with Winnipeg in training camp and then later picked up by the RedBlacks. With all the quarterback injuries that they have had. 1st and goal. The Hamilton 5. Devontae Williams. And swarmed by a bunch of Tiger Cats, and Malik Carney's the one that takes them down as they lose yardage, pushing them back.
Yeah, massive defensive play here from the Hamilton Tiger Cats with Ottawa pressing. Carney's coming from the left side of your screen, starts off right in front of the goalpost. Tiger Cats stack things up on the back side, which allows Carney to close down. Excuse me, stack it up on the front side, allowing Carney to close it down from the back.
Pushed back to the 10. There's the coordinator with the Ticats, Mark Washington. Now putting it at the Ticat 12. They whistle it in. And here we go, Crum. End zone incomplete.
You see the frustration there for Dustin Crum as he looks to get this ball out quickly. But ends up off the mark. Intended target was Braylon Addison. The inside slot. He's just going to sit it down over the middle in front of the nickel backer, Chris Edwards.
So a 20-yard kick for Lewis Ward. A little bit to the right, but it is through, and it's a tie game now. 3 on the board. The Red Blacks impressively moved their way down the field, but missed opportunity right there. Intended for the ex-Ticat Addison. No touchdown. Field goal. 3-3 tie. First quarter. Rats. The winner to play Novak Djokovic in the men's final this weekend. U.S. Open tennis on TSN. 3-3 tie here as the Ticats start their possession from their own 40. Taylor Powell facing some heat, and he gets hit just as he gets rid of it for Tim White. And down he goes, and he is shaken up. He is still down. Powell, the third quarterback used this season after injuries to Bo Levi Mitchell twice and Matthew Schultz.
And watch for the former Tiger Cat, Lorenzo Malden, the league's reigning most outstanding defensive player. As he comes around, see, he ends up getting the back of Powell's leg as he was sliding down himself. As the quarterback goes to throw the ball, obviously affected the throw, but more importantly, appearing to injure the leg of the Tiger Cats' young QB. Now Kai Loxley.
And it's interesting, Dwayne, Loxley's number 2 in the depth. He would go in. Orlando Steinhauer made that clear, even though Matthew Schultz, who started 3 games earlier before getting hurt, is dressed as the number 3 for this game tonight, but Loxley would be the one going in.
You saw him warming up on the sidelines, former Edmonton Elk.
So Loxley warms up, and Powell is finally up, and nice to see that he's able to jog off, but has to sit out for a few plays as Loxley will come in, take some reps at quarterback for the Ticats. Has not thrown a pass yet in his time with Hamilton. Has a touchdown on this field, though. A catch from Bo Levi Mitchell in a long run afterwards, and part of that victory for the Ticats in the second meeting of the season between these two.
Yeah, and he's served as a quarterback primarily as the short yardage guy for the Cats.
As you talked about, we saw that dynamic a lot with Edmonton last year. His quarterback and his receiver. Throws his first pass as a Ticat, and it goes off the hands of his intended receiver, McAllister, and it falls incomplete.
So this one, deflected ball, looked like it might turn into a little bit of trouble for the Tiger Cats. They escape with 3rd down and chance to punt the ball.
Last punt for Corey Vedvik, 57 yards. They're going to punt it again with Brandon Dandridge back for it. Dandridge takes it inside the 25. Breaks free for a moment, still on his feet. Dandridge approaching him from behind, and the ball nearly came out, and good special team's tackle after a 47-yard punt for the Ticats. 3-3 tie. Red Blacks have the ball. There was a time when Braylon Addison was one of the top Tiger Cat receivers, 2019, over 1,200 yards receiving, but then injuries took over and really threatened his career. Now getting another chance with Ottawa. Let's say hello to Claire Hanna.
Yes, Rod, and Braylon Addison actually started his career as an Ottawa RedBlack on the 6-game injured list after tearing his Achilles with Hamilton last season. And he said it was going to be emotional facing his former team because when his dreams to make the NFL didn't work out, it was the CFL that gave him a start. Now, he started in Toronto, but it was with Hamilton where he really grew into a professional football player and he really found his own. Now, on top of that, he built a lot of chemistry with Jeremiah Masoli, Jalen Acklin, even Lorenzo Malden. So when he was deciding where to go, they really convinced him to come to Ottawa. Now, one thing he didn't realize is how beautiful the city was. He said when he came as a visitor, he didn't realize outside the stadium how stunning it was, and he thinks away teams try to hide that from guys for fear they're going to leave their team to come to Ottawa. Guys.
Oh, Claire, and he is certainly embracing another chance. Here's a deep look. Dustin Crum, receiver in behind and has it. It's Shaq Evans. Just got in behind Richard Leonard, and another big gain for the Red Blacks on the move. And that is inside the 25.
And you can see Evans even as a wide receiver because they have a tight end to that side. Evans can use his waggle. He starts off the line of scrimmage. Corners don't necessarily see that a lot. You saw the jump that he got to get in behind Richard Leonard. Beautifully thrown ball there from Dustin Crum.
Gain of 44 yards down to the 23 of the Ticats. Big first down. Red Blacks got close inside the 10 last time. They couldn't get it in. Throwing now off the play fake. And that is Tavon Smith with the catch as he gets it inside the 20. And that is the first catch of the season for Tavon Smith, just the second time that he's been targeted.
Yeah, Smith, a guy who battled injuries a lot the last couple of seasons, but just taking a look back at that deep ball to Shaq Evans. Did an outstanding job tracking that one over the shoulder. Make that grab and stay in bounds.
Got them close, and then the 6-yard pass to Tavon Smith has them inside the 20, down to the 17, and a 2nd and 4 coming up here for the Red Blacks, who got as close as the 7 last time around, ended up settling for a field goal. Well, we talked about Dustin Crum against the Ticats and those close finishes. These are his numbers against Hamilton, favorable against the rest of the CFL, Dwayne.
Yeah, you look at those numbers against Hamilton, bear in mind, skewed a little bit by the fact that he had his first ever CFL action against the Tiger Cats when he was thrown in when Masoli went down.
Crum throwing again. It is caught down to the 10. Great work Bahar afterwards, and a big hit by Katsantonis at the 1 prevents the touchdown, but Nate Bahar, we've seen him as a solid target for the Red Blacks and Crum before, and a big one there to get him close.
Yeah, that's it to Bahar on the high percentage pass. Good effort by the former Carleton Ravens receiver to escape the grasp of Chris Edwards. He set his team up.
Only to be hit hard by the former UBC T-Bird there and Katsantonis to knock him out of bounds and prevent a touchdown. But it is a 1st and goal, and Terrell Pegram is in right at the Hamilton 1. They'll have 3 cracks at it. How many will they need? Not that time. They'll need a second shot at it anyway, as Pegram does not get in.
Hamilton absolutely stacks this one up. You can see Ted Laurent right in the middle of the action. No surprise there. See big 97. Jonathan Congo as well, surging across the line.
Try number 2, 2nd and goal. Hamilton 1. Pegram stays in. Ball comes out. There's a fight for it. And the Ticats are saying they have it. What of a turn of events this would be. If they turn it over in that situation, so close to the end zone, a little discussion afterwards.
Yeah, the pointing from the Tiger Cats came so quickly. I'm not sure they necessarily thought they had it, or they just wanted to convince the officials that they did. But regardless, this one was in trouble in a hurry.
Right off the exchange.
Dustin Crum's reaction, I think, speaks for just about everybody in this stadium, the pro-Ottawa crowd, obviously.
Well, here we go. 3rd and goal. Last chance. Either a touchdown or a brilliant goal line stand for Hamilton. Pegram again. Tries the right. No! Does not get in. Denied by the Ticats. What a stand by Hamilton. 3 tries at the 1, and the answer is no. The quarter comes to an end. The RedBlacks had a chance to take the lead, but they're denied.
Please welcome him back.
I think Mark Washington likes that. Look what his defense did. On the threshold of the end zone, the RedBlacks never got there. Not this time. 3-3 the score through the first 15 here on Friday Night Football on TSN in Ottawa. The stats through the first 15. We got a 3-3 tie and a recurring theme, Dwayne, for the Ottawa RedBlacks. That offense is moving the ball, but they are not cashing in, and they certainly paid for it there in a great goal line stand for the Ticat defense.
Yeah, they really did. A nice drive, keyed, of course, by the big throw down the sideline to Shaq Evans. You've got to take advantage of those opportunities. This is essentially a playoff game for an Ottawa team that has yet to win a game against the East Division, and that's their undoing. That's why they're on the outside looking in, is struggling against their own division. And in a critical moment, the prime opportunity, yeah, they were unable to get the job done.
And this will certainly help a tired team. They just played on Monday in the Labor Day Classic against the Argos. 3 days rest, but as a team, when they see what the defense was able to do there to keep Ottawa out of the end zone. So they do take over deep, but it's still a 3-3 tie, and Taylor Powell, injured the last possession, is back in there at quarterback, standing in the end zone for the Ticats. Right at the Hamilton 1. On the ground, James Butler. Now that's the RedBlacks making a stand that's been quite familiar for that Ottawa defense up front against the run. Nothing doing there for Butler.
Yeah, and the Ottawa defense certainly looked to return the favor with a big stop here. But you know, I find myself watching with a added degree of interest with Hamilton with the ball at their 1 yard line. If you saw on Labor Day the segment Paul LaPolice did about situational football and play calling in this exact area of the field, talking about offensive mixing up snap counts because you can't really be penalized for going offside. That's exactly what Hamilton did on their first down, was went on a long count.
Big down here for both. Certainly for that RedBlacks defense now in a 2nd and 10 from the end zone. Out, and it is caught. Tim White has it, and what a big first down here for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Arguing it's a catch, but no. Initially, looked like they were giving it to White.
Keep an eye on his feet. And maybe that lead foot touchdown first. No, back foot was down first, and it looked like he had possession of the football.
Do we see a coach reach for a challenge flag here?
The ruling is a catch. First down.
No need to challenge for Orlando Steinauer.
This was one of the other pieces that Lapo talked about in terms of the situation from the -1, your own 1 yard line throwing the ball. You're essentially working with half the field when you get in a throwing situation, because you're only going to throw to the boundary side because you don't want to risk hitting the goalpost from a throw out of your own end zone. Throwing to the wide side, Hamilton executed it perfectly.
So they buy themselves some space now, and a first down up across the 10, 12-yard line. 3-3 tie. in the hands of Butler. He cuts it back and drives up across the 15 to about the 17 now.
Kenna the tackler, Kenna Uleblecki. Butler the ball carrier. 6-yard gain.
James Butler. Yeah, this is what he's done. Over 1,000 yards combined. Had some good receiving totals too, and a receiving touchdown. And I just mentioned a big game against his old club 2 weeks ago, the BC Lions in Vancouver.
Yeah, James Butler's been over 100 yards 3 times on the season, but certainly the most convincing performance was that one against BC.
On 2nd and 5, a first down. It is Tim White again. And so the Ticats have something going on offense, more than just breathing space now. They've done a good job working out of their end zone.
Yeah, you'll see Tim White find his way into an open space as he gets the inside release there. Immediately looking for the football. Nice delivery on time from Taylor Powell.
Tim White targeted 9 times on Monday at 8 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown. 1 of 3 thrown by Powell in that game. Left side and around the edge goes Butler, but not much there. Picks up a couple more yards and out to the 40. Sample of Tim White and what he did against the Argos. I keep saying last week. It was really earlier this week on the Labor Day Monday, but certainly it was a productive offense. I mean, they fell short against the Argos, but they made some plays.
Yeah, they had some opportunities certainly in that ball game, but Toronto Argonauts continue their impressive ways here, and we're now into the middle portion of this 2023 season.
Tomorrow they're hosting the Alouettes. The other 2 in the East, Argos, go to a 9-1 start. 2nd and 7 now. The Cavs, Powell throwing and completing again. Another first down to you-know-who, Tim White, with yet another catch on this drive. 12 more yards for 12.
Yeah, White came into this game leading the way for Hamilton, having been targeted 76 times, 47 catches for him coming in. Really established himself as a CFL star over the last couple of seasons.
Started on their 1. Ticats are up to their 53 now. Little play fake for Butler, who stays in the block. There's a deep look. Over the middle, nearly intercepted. Abdul Kenna tight in on the coverage of White and nearly came down with the football.
Yeah, and this throw comes a little bit late as Powell had to get on the move out of the pocket. If he were able to throw this one just a split second earlier, and maybe the Tiger Cats celebrating a touchdown right now. Kenna not only breaking that one up, but very nearly coming up with the INT.
Given the reaction, he thinks he should have had it. 2nd down and 10 now. Ticats up near midfield. 3-3 the score. Powell again, and that's in tight coverage. And intended for Godwin. Carriel Brooks, the ex-Ticat, right in there on him. Falls incomplete, and a 3rd down is coming up.
Yeah, Godwin going to come from his wide receiver spot and work across the middle. Going into something of a danger zone here as you see the 3 defenders converging on him as that ball is en route.
Brendan Dandridge is back for the punt return from Bedvik. Inside the 15. Ultimately taken down across the 20.
For every successful field goal during the CFL season, TELUS is donating one
for the Ottawa RedBlacks.
Friendly Future Foundation.
They've had a couple of impressive drives. They've gotten close to the end zone, but they still haven't got it in. Little chirping after the fact here. Santos Knox. Godwin will be back here at TD Place. I'm not stealing his job unless it's a Shark Week promo. That would be a different story.
Exactly.
3-3 the score. Ottawa football. The Ticats got themselves out of a whole lot of trouble earlier. So on the move to the right, dumping it off to another ex-Cat. That's Jalen Ackland with his first catch of the night. Leading receiver for the RedBlacks last year, his first after leaving Hamilton.
Yeah, and I suspect that this play, part of the mindset in the call here is just to get Jalen Ackland involved, hadn't had a touch yet. One of the Red Blacks' top offensive weapons. Get him in motion, go to a nice high percentage play to put the ball in his hands.
Comes into this game with the most receiving yards for Ottawa at 552. Before that play, a 2nd and 4. Added 6 yards to his total there. So faking the handoff, completing first down, back to Acklin, back to back. To Jalen Acklin, who gets it up to about the 44 of Ottawa.
And you'll see how the play action fake holds the linebackers close to the line of scrimmage. They don't get depth. And watch now how Acklin slips into that second level in behind those linebackers. Got a little bit of room to work. And for another easy completion between he and his quarterback, Dustin Crum.
Gain of 16. He had some good years with the Ticats and a talented receiving corps that included in 2019 Braylon Addison and Speedy B, Brendan Banks. 1st and 10, Ottawa 44. Crum escapes, keeps going, takes a hit as he gets it up to midfield. A couple of times you see like he's thinking about sliding and then says, no, the heck with it, keep going.
Yeah, doesn't really seem to have the hook slide in his repertoire just yet. He ducked just underneath the 2 defenders here. As Simone Lawrence and Malik Carney end up colliding with one another.
He really made a statement with his first appearance you talked about, coming off the bench for Jeremiah Masoli in Hamilton, rushing for 91 in that game. And here's a guy who's been rushing well, Devontae Williams inside the Hamilton 40, and another first down on the ground for the Ottawa RedBlacks, a gain of 17 more yards for Williams.
And Devontae Williams continues to impress. Enjoying a good first half here. And him having that success along the ground. You saw in that Crum to Acklin throw, the importance of them being able to run the football, creating a threat in the mind of the Hamilton Tiger Cats that'll help open up some things in the passing game.
1st and 10 at the Hamilton 38. Crum being pursued, he rolls and he throws it away.
The crowd here very disappointed that that young man was unable to make the uncontested catch along the sidelines.
That's a lot of pressure, though.
Well, you got to make a play when you have an opportunity, Rod.
True enough. When you got cameras on you, fans watching you, hey, they're paid to do it. 2nd and 10 at the 38. Still a tie game. That's complete. Justin Hardy, who leads the team in receptions coming in, but shy of a first down. They're saying no, incomplete now. And Lewis Ward is coming on.
And we get a closer look here.
So he lost the handle on it, so still wouldn't have been a first down. This is a 45-yard try for Lewis Ward, one of the most accurate kickers in the history of the CFL, but that one goes off the upright, dead ball, and he's 1 for 2 on the night. So the 45-yard try, and still the RedBlacks have only 3 points to show for what they've done so far in this game. Started a bit left, kept going there. Doinks off the upright. On Monday against the Argos, Terry Godwin had his first 2 touchdowns of the season. 6 catches for 50 yards. Get more on him now from Claire Hanna.
Yeah, Rod, and Terry Godwin told me that he has an alter ego that not a lot of people know about. It's Scary Terry. And it started about 3.5 years ago when he was playing with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And it was while he was rehabbing from a partial Achilles tear. He said he was trying to get healthy, and as he could feel himself getting healthier, he was back to getting scary. He told me it's a mode. When the ball's up in the air, he's going up with a defensive back. He's going to get it regardless. If he's not on target, then he's going to make sure that he's making a big block or a tackle. And he said that Scary Terry has come out against Toronto, and there were a few other appearances, but Scary Terry hasn't been around for a full game. But when it is, we will know.
Thank you, Claire. I wonder what he's going to have around Halloween time, a little over a month away, for Scary Terry, who's on the receiving end there with Howell taking him down. He was fun to talk to on the Zoom calls earlier this week.
Yeah, it really was. The former Georgia Bulldog, full of energy.
2nd and 5. Flushed out of the pocket. Taylor Powell. And throws on the move. Keandre Smith standing right at the sideline, and he has it before falling out of bounds. A gain of 7 and a first down for the Tiger Cats.
Yeah, Powell looks like he's hobbling a little bit. You remember he took that shot from Lorenzo Malden earlier, but there's no hesitation from him to scramble, get out of that pocket. Good job by Keandre Smith along the sideline to keep the feet in and make that grab.
Taylor Powell, 6 for 11, 63 yards so far in this game. Ticats thankful it's tied. That one a bit too far for Tim White. Got a hand on it, and it falls incomplete. 2nd down coming up.
Powell feeling a little pressure through that one early. You see the numbers
for Scary Terry.
Yes, sir. Terry Godwin, as mentioned, his numbers are just behind those of Tim White within the Tiger Cats receiving corps. Came into tonight having been targeted 69 times to 76 targets for White.
2nd down, Taylor Powell. Steps out of the pocket, takes off, he gets up to the 50, picks up about 8 yards before he's taken down. And a 3rd down is coming up.
And you got to appreciate the toughness. Taylor Powell fighting through with that leg injury, demonstrating some leadership to his teammates despite being just a first-year player here in the Canadian Football League.
Third down and 3, and they're going to do a little quarterback punt by Taylor Powell.
Yeah, you could see it coming with 3 receivers lined up behind the quarterback, so they'd be onside, but nowhere near where that ball landed.
So they do punt the ball of sorts, just not with the normal punter. Ottawa football, a 33-yard punt by Powell. At the half, Kate Burness, Milt Stegall, Jim Barker, Dave Naylor as well. Thoughts in this first half? You see some Ottawa Senators in the crowd tonight to watch the Red Blacks, including Thomas Chabot, Tim Stutzla. Saw Brady Tkachuk there earlier. The Sens getting ready for another season. Here we are in September. Labor Day has passed and NHL's around the corner, and they're watching the Ottawa RedBlacks tonight in a tie game. Slant route to Hardy and a first down. 4:58, just under 5 minutes to go until halftime.
And you'll see once again how so much of Ottawa's passing game is built from their run game. Showing fake to Devontae Williams again. Opens up a level downfield for Justin Hardy.
Up to the 47. And Crum running out of time, but he escapes again. Trey Crawford chasing him down, forcing him to get rid of it, and incomplete, and 2nd down coming up.
And I think Crum felt like that one might have been a little bit of a missed opportunity for completion. Crawford coming from the bottom of your screen. Just stays in pursuit. Crum looked like he was going to tuck that one and run, but with Crawford closing, decides to throw.
Crum 7 for 13, 134. He's thrown a pick early in this game. But Ottawa had moved down. That's as big a storyline as any right now. Missed opportunities for the Red Blacks. In a 3-3 tie and a 2nd down. Pressure is coming. Carney couldn't get to him, trying to get around, but still that throw is incomplete. Red Blacks want a flag, and a flag is out.
That flag was thrown late here.
That is the first penalty of the night.
Pass interference. Hamilton, number 2. Spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
Says the referee, Tom Valesi. Tunde Adeleke flagged for that.
Braylon Addison, the targeted receiver here. You'll see he and Adeleke on that second move get tangled up. And thus the call. First down for Ottawa.
Spotted the foul, moving it up to, well, now they're moving it back. Line of scrimmage towards the Ottawa zone. It's still on Hamilton's side of midfield, but barely at the 53 now. As
Kahari
Jones is wondering
the spot.
Yeah, what's up with the spot? Bob Dice wants to know too.
Well, the contact deemed to be early in the route. So a situation where had the ball not gone to Addison, it would have been illegal contact. Became upgraded to pass interference when he became the targeted receiver. So that is a 10-yard penalty.
So it goes to the 53 then, and a 1st and 10. Under 4 minutes to go until halftime. Devontae Williams breaks free, cuts back, ball comes out. Ticats have it. A turnover for the Ticats. As Stavros Katsantonis, who had another one, an interception earlier in this game, recovers the Devontae Williams fumble and tries to silence the crowd as he heads off.
Well, promising drive and what looked like another promising run here for Devontae Williams, but he's stripped. Great pursuit to the football by Trey Crawford, the defensive end. Getting back, he punches that one out. Katsantonis, as you mentioned, Rod, continuing to demonstrate his nose for the football, finds himself in the right place at the right time with that recovery.
And then a little word for RedBlacks fans. So 1st and 10 at the Hamilton 44 for the Ticats. On the ground they go. Pushing after contact as James Butler, as a helmet rolls free as well, belonging to Santos Knox. They're up near midfield.
James Butler at 5'9", not a huge guy, but packing about 210 pounds. Deceptive power as he goes into contact. You see him playing the role of hammer far more often than nail.
And Bless Mandala back in the RedBlack lineup. Last play before the 3-minute warning now. Backed up Butler, not this time, says Lorenzo Malden. And Michael Wakefield and Cariel Brooks. There's another ex-Cat all fired up against his old team. Lost yardage of 4 yards that time for Butler. And so now the 3-minute warning, under 3 minutes to play until halftime, and still a 3-3 score.
Coming up at the half, the panel is here to break down this football game. Okay, how about the triple header tomorrow?
Let's go.
So excited about the banjo pool. That sounds fun.
You guys are.
Yeah, well, you know, we're excited about the triple header tomorrow too. You got the Argos and Alouettes, you got the Banjo Bowl, you got the rematch of the Stampeders and Elks after that exciting finish in Calgary. But I know why they're excited. Powell completes that pass to McAllister. Tyreek McAllister, and close to a first down near the 45 of the RedBlacks with 2:20 on the clock, a gain of 14.
Big play for McAllister, the elusive Ticats receiver. McAllister coming out of the slot on the far side, working across the field, using his speed coming underneath. A couple routes going over top to try and clear a little bit of space for him into that boundary side.
Heading towards 2 minutes. Ottawa 46. Can the Ticats break the deadlock? Powell. Deep look. Right side. And is caught by Omar Bayless. His first CFL catch as he was put on the roster to replace Duke Williams. Now, he has a touchdown. He got that on special teams in week 1, the last time he played. Big offensive play this time for Bayless.
And that's a hell of a per-catch average for Omar Bayless as they send him over the top for his first catch. Little hand fighting there with Justin Howell. Terrific concentration to stay with that ball for the former Arkansas State star. And a challenge here from Bob Dice looking for offensive pass interference for that hand fighting. He's saying that was a push-off. We'll see how the officials
Ottawa is challenging for offensive pass interference. We'll review the play.
Well, if you're going to spend a challenge, now's a pretty good time late in the first half of a tight game. And that big play taking them on the threshold of the RedBlacks end zone.
Bayless coming out of the slot. Howell, the defender who's over top, stays with him going deep. And you can see the left arm stayed up for a little while as he's trying to fend off the defender.
Is that enough of a push-off, though?
Initially, it's both of them making contact. I think right there you see the hand on the chest that kind of
that last one
contributes to the turning of the defender that may get him in trouble. But we'll await the interpretation of the command center here.
Omar Bayless inserted into the lineup with the injury to Duke Williams on Monday. Sun Belt Player of the Year in 2019 with Arkansas State. Recovered a block punt for the Ticats in week 1 in Winnipeg for a touchdown. Hasn't played since that game until this one tonight.
Bayless, another big target, about 6'2", 210 pounds. And you can see pretty clearly from that angle, arm extended, hand on the chest, pushing the defender at the tail end. Initially, you could see each player sort of reaching for the other in a case of hand fighting, but I think just before that ball arrived, that active.
Well, what an important challenge for Bob Dice and the RedBlacks. Command Center's made its decision.
After review from the command center, we have offensive pass interference, Hamilton number 80. Be a 10-yard penalty, first down.
Negating a chance for the Ticats to get in close inside the 5. Instead, it comes back because of OPI.
Yeah, tough break for the Tiger Cats, but absolutely the right call and a great challenge by Bob Dice and his staff to recognize that, communicate it down to the sidelines.
So nearly the first CFL catch for Omar Bayless, but taken off the record now and back to the 54, their own 54, just shy of midfield. Late in this first half, under 2 minutes to go, 1:53 and a 1st and 20 for Orlando Steinauer's Ticats. Coming in at 4 and 7, 2 points ahead of Ottawa for third place in the East. All important positioning, the way things look right now. Coming across is McAllister with the ball, and great second effort for a first down and more as he's finally pushed out of bounds, and that is inside the 35 of the RedBlacks.
And so often when you get these crossing routes, the idea is you're trying to get a player the ball in space, whether it's with picks underneath or clearing routes, verticals ahead of them. And a guy like McAllister, pretty accomplished as a kick returner, averaging about 30 yards a pop on kickoff returns for the Tiger Cats this season. You want to take advantage of that skill set.
It was 20 yards to go. Excuse me again, Dwayne. Not a first down, but a good gain on 1st and 20 to set up this second down. And now it's a first down. And Bayless now has his first CFL catch.
And not as impressive for the yards per catch as the original version. but equally important for the Hamilton Tiger Cats as he gets them a fresh set of downs with about 38 to go here in the first half.
And a gain of 12 yards. So Bayless gets his catch. Hamilton still moving late in the first half. Powell gets away from it to the right, throws it down, and a flag is down.
Holding, Hamilton number 64. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
They get the right guard, Calderwood-Manzi. And that will push them back to another 1st and 20 as they go back to the Ottawa 40. It's still in scoring range late in this first half. A half where the RedBlacks twice got it close inside the 10, down to the 7, settled for a field goal, then had 3 cracks at the end zone from the 1 back in the first quarter and could not punch it in. 3-3. Dandridge right there with Godwin, who wanted a call on that one in that 1st and 20 play, but no. 2nd down coming up.
Take a look at the timing of this one between Godwin and Dandridge. And once again, looked like a pretty good defensive play there for number 37 in black,
who just had an amazing start to the season. Touchdowns in special teams and defense, and then got hurt. Missed several games, but back in that Ottawa secondary now. 2nd and 20 at the Ottawa 40. And quickly over to Keandre Smith inside the 30. The 25 and close to a first down. Needed the 20 yards, got very close to it. 1:11 on the clock. And a 3rd down and short is coming up here. Very short.
Well, it would be quite something as the Ticats look to convert their 2nd. 20 yards to go situation of this drive. No doubt causing Baron Miles to pull out a few hairs.
Kyle Loxley in at quarterback. They need about a foot. Looks like he has it inside the 20. And a first down coming up here. 1:03 on the clock inside the 20-yard line. Red zone time for the Ticats.
And here you see Loxley gets in behind Revenberg and Figueroa on that left side. Pick up the necessary yardage.
So to your point, twice when they needed 20 yards. For a new set of downs, they got it. Long drive. Smith again. Keandre Smith still on his feet. He's finally bulldozed down near the 15. That was the 10th play of this drive as Hamilton edges closer, and so too does halftime. 38 seconds. Baron Miles, defensive coordinator for the RedBlacks, who have every reason to think they should be leading this game because they got so close, but no touchdowns. 2nd and 4. Can the Ticats do it? Take the lead to halftime. Howell, end zone, batted away. Howell stepping in front of White. Big play for Justin Howell back in the lineup after missing a couple of games with a head injury. And it is 3rd down as the field goal unit will come on for the Ticats.
Yeah, you can see Howell, the 5th-year man at free safety, just underneath the goalposts, waiting on that crossing route. He starts coming downhill as he sees Taylor Powell look that way to step in front of Tim White for a big defensive play.
So a 20-yard field goal try will come up. So both defenses toughening up when it matters most down near the goal line. Mark Leggio on. It is 20-yard attempt, putting it down. And the Ticats do, though, come up with the 6-3 lead. And there was certainly a period of time when it looked like this game could be going the other way. So I'm guessing, even though they don't have a touchdown, that Hamilton at this stage, under the circumstances they have faced, are, let's say, not all that unhappy to be leading the football game right now.
Yeah, you think about it. You mentioned the big goal line stand by Hamilton. 3 cracks for Ottawa from in close to score a touchdown. Lewis Ward, Mr. Automatic, here in Ottawa, hitting the goalpost on a field goal attempt. That it could have been a very different situation in this ball game. The Tiger Cats impressive on that drive, fighting through a couple of very difficult down and distance situations to work their way into scoring position.
See Taylor Powell talking to Matthew Schultz. It was Powell that took over for Schultz back in week 6 when he got hurt in Edmonton. Powell became the starter, with the exception of one start by Bo Levi Mitchell. On the screen to Williams, and a pickup to midfield, so 7 seconds on the clock. Can you run one quick play? Maybe close enough for Lewis Ward. Is there time?
Yeah, they should have a shot to get one and get down or get out of bounds to get Ward on the field.
Clock ticking, 4, 3. And it's complete, getting down, but 0 is on the clock. Jalen Ackland, but does not look like they're, let's see, the 0's showing on the clock, and the field goal unit is coming on. So I'm going to let him. So there should be 1 second left on the clock.
Please put 1 second
there
on the clock.
Just in time, Ackland goes down just to save a chance for Lewis Ward.
Oh, great execution there by the Ottawa offense.
Ward's longest is 54 this season. He's 30 of 34. Missing that one, second miss of the night, and bringing it out is McAllister. Hang on a second. Tyreek McAllister cuts back inside Ward. He's still going. And the half comes to an end, but not without some drama on the final play. On the missed field goal is McAllister, the explosive returner. Another break or two, and Hamilton might have had a touchdown by halftime.
Fantastic effort there from McAllister. Second miss of the first half for Lewis Ward, hooking that one to his left.
Those long field goal tries are always dangerous.
Well, they sure are. A lot of big bodies out there trying to get down and cover. Ante Milanovic-Leachray with a great stop.
Big plays by the defenses, including Stavros Katsantonis standing by with Claire.
Stavros, there was a moment in that half where Ottawa had a chance to put 6 on the board, but your defense had that goal line stand. What was the feeling like on the field then?
Yeah, I think defense just made a great stop there, and we got off the field, and we just bailed out the offense there, got them back the ball, and that's what we need to do is just get TP the ball and let it go from there.
For you, you've had an interception, you had that fumble recovery. How are those plays been so important to just holding Ottawa to 3 points?
Yeah, I got to give all the glory to God, my coaching staff and all that, just getting me prepared each week, and Trey Crawford for forcing that fumble and just being in the right place, right time, running the ball, good things happen. So.
And Stavros, this has been a short week for you guys. How are you feeling?
We're ready to go. There's no excuses at this football team, and we're ready to go each week, whatever task is in front of us.
Thank you, Stavros.
No worries, thank you.
Kate, let's head it back to you and the panel in Toronto.
Claire alongside Dave Naylor, Jim Barker, Milt Stiegel. I'm going to completely steal this from Dave Naylor. Where was the urgency by the Ottawa RedBlacks the entire first half? In the last 14 seconds, they put a drive together. But my goodness, I think we're all sitting here scratching our heads. You see, the Ottawa RedBlacks had 11 days off to prepare for this game. We thought we'd see a lot of hurry-up offense. We haven't seen any. And then the Hamilton Tiger Cats played on Monday in that heat of a game, had 3 days off. And good on the Tiger Cats for leading this game. You know they're happy going into halftime. But, Milt, this is a complete head-scratcher.
First of all, this is a bad game. Let me start with that. This is not good football. I know some people say, well, it's a good defense. No, it's not. These aren't two good defenses. These are just two not well teams. But first of all, these Ottawa RedBlacks, you got to ask yourself who had 11 days off and who had 3 days off. There's no sense of urgency. There's no creativity. There's no energy. There's none of that going on right now. And as we talked about in our quick pregame, they're fighting for their playoff lives. They lose this game, and that's pretty much it. We can pretty much classify them as the worst team in the CFL. So they better come out with something in this second half and say, let's get something done.
Well, when you're playing a team on 3 days rest and you're coming off of a bye, to not have some kind of tempo offense in there.
Right.
I mean, the ways you keep a team in the game, you turn the ball over, which they've done 3 times. You know, they have no tempo. They're 0-2 in the red zone. Second and long defense. Oh my goodness, I haven't seen so many 2nd and 16s converted than that drive just before the half.
Well, that's the thing that stands out for me about Ottawa. Like, football is a situational game, right? Situations where you get the advantage, all you need to do is execute. 2nd and 20. 2nd and 16, 1st and goal on the 1. Even once you turn the ball over on the 1, you've got them hemmed in deep. What did they allow Hamilton to do? March 65 yards out the field and flip it. Chip shot field goal. Another situation. Look, we talked about Ottawa earlier in the pregame about needing to see them go deep a little more. They did complete 1 deep pass to Shaq Evans, but most of their good plays have been along the ground. But situationally, they've been horrible.
We talked about how, and you talked about this maybe before the game, they need to do some hurry up, some no huddle, and we saw them do it on the last drive. Why didn't they do that before the game?
Against a team that has no rest.
3 days rest. Start the game like that. The entire half they should have played like that.
When teams are tired, you want to play physical. And your team has been off for 11 days. They should be ready to basically be physical and play that type of football. I haven't seen that. How many big hits have we seen? Not enough. Not enough. There's too many missed tackles. Again, for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, credit to them.
Yes.
Because they are battling.
They're in a good position right now.
Absolutely. They're ahead
They're in a good position right now. They're in a very good position.
Well, we talked a little bit about getting down early, making this game kind of meaningless for Hamilton. With their fatigue, they're not going to want to play it out if it looks like a loss. Looks like a win for them so far.
Yeah, it certainly does. I have great news. It can only go up from here, right?
Sure.
I actually don't know, but we are going to talk about the triple header coming up on TSN tomorrow, which is going to be phenomenal. 6-3 football game.
For the 3rd and final meeting between the Tiger Cats and the Red Blacks. The coverage intercepted. Stavros Katsantonis. As here's a deep look. Dustin Crum. Receiver to the line and has it. No. Does not get in. Denied by the Ticats. Ball comes out. Ticats have it.
It is one of the greatest days on the CFL schedule. We've got a triple header coming up on Saturday. Kicks off with the Alouettes taking on the Toronto Argonauts. And then it's the Rough Riders and the Blue Bombers. It is the Banjo Bowl. It is sold out. And then it all wraps up once again with the Battle of Alberta. A fabulous game on Monday. Let's see if they can recreate it. It's the Stampeders taking on the Elks. I know I'm not supposed to have a vote, but I'm going to vote anyways. I am looking forward to the Banjo Bowl. We have seen the Riders beat 2 monster teams.
Yes.
Can they do it again and shock the CFL? Milt, what are you looking forward to?
You know where I'm going,
I know where
Kate.
you're going.
You know where I'm going. I was just in Winnipeg, and those fans are looking for revenge. It's going to be a tough battle. As you mentioned, these Rough Riders are riding high. We finally got a tall quarterback playing well, Dave, so it's going to be an exciting game. Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to side with you here. I mean, I am looking forward to that.
You sound like you didn't want to side with me, Coach.
I didn't, but you know what? I'm all about physical football. There's going to be snap bobbles all over IG Field. I'm telling you, there's going to be hitting like we haven't seen. That's what I love the most.
I'm going to look at the Toronto-Montreal game, and I'll tell you why. The Toronto Argonauts have brought us a lot of things this season. One thing they have not brought us a lot of, fantastic finishes, because they're usually blowing people out by the end of the 3 quarters. Montreal played them very tough the first time around. So I think there's a rematch there and hoping for a dramatic finish.
Calgary, Edmonton, I'm looking to see what Trey Ford does again.
Agreed.
You know, he's shown us that he can be a starter in this league. Unfortunately, they didn't win the game last week, but I'm going to see what he can do this week when they play Calgary again.
There's a lot of intrigue in that game. But in terms of football, the physicalness that's going to happen.
You love physicalness.
Oh, my goodness. I'm just so excited about it. But, and Dave, your game, the Toronto that you chose, again, I think that's going to be a phenomenal football game where Toronto can really kind of separate themselves for good from Montreal.
Yeah, they can make the latter part of October pretty meaningless if they win a couple more games, especially in division.
Are you excited for what snot on the field? I missed that one. What did you say?
Snot bubbles. What happens when you hit somebody hard? You haven't been tackled.
Honestly, we need to pay you more because this is the most entertaining thing I have seen all night. Oh, this is the most entertaining thing I've seen. Oh, get it, Rover. He got it. What a good boy. We'll be back to stats.
There are stats.
Time to break it all down, Dave.
You know, this may be almost a halftime stat first. The number on the right is bigger than the number on the left, except for points off turnovers. 6-3 Hamilton left. 3 turnovers to 0. Net yards 234 to 166. Ottawa winning the stat game, except on the scoreboard.
That is well done.
That was well.
That was well done, Dave Taylor.
A lot out of that.
All right, you know what? We're expecting big things here in the second half. Ticats currently up by 3. We'll get you back to Rod and Dwayne right after this.
Time at TD Place in Ottawa. The RedBlacks have had their chances, but they are trailing Hamilton by a score of 6-3. Here's Claire Hanna now with Lorenzo Malden.
Lorenzo, this is a game where your team needs a sense of urgency. How would you evaluate your team's performance so far?
Right now we're playing good. We're just not finishing. We just need to finish. We reiterated all week that we need to finish in this game. These guys are sore. These guys are tired, and we need to capitalize on that.
We heard your head coach before the game said he wants you to be physical. We saw you wrap up James Butler there near the end of the half. I know you've been with the RedBlacks for 2 seasons, but do you still get a bit emotional playing your former team?
Oh, no doubt at all. Every time we go up against them, I have to let them know what they let go.
Thank you.
No problem.
And the second half begins. The RedBlacks getting the ball. It's Tobias Harris with it. Up across the 30. Harris still going. Flag comes out across midfield and down to the Ticat 45. Wait for the flag, but this could be the start the RedBlacks need, trailing by a field goal to start the second half. And looking like it is against Ottawa.
Yeah, you had a sense.
During the return, holding, Ottawa number 42. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That goes against the rookie linebacker James Peter, performing on special teams here. You just had a sense based on the timing.
As he looks it over with his head coach Bob Dice reviewing that play. So called for the hold, so the ball comes back. Ottawa will scrimmage at their own 28. Dustin Crum to start the second half, trailing by a field goal, 9 for 15 for 162 yards and an interception. Handing off, Devontae Williams breaking free. Williams had 49 yards in the first half on 6 carries. And here's a look at the first half for Dustin Crum, at times moving the football well.
Yeah, we saw a lot of play action type passes for Crum, built off the running of Devontae Williams. That one deep shot, using his legs on a couple of occasions when afforded the opportunity.
Bottom line, and back-to-back sets of downs. They got inside the 10 and had no touchdown to show for it, just a field goal. Pass completing 2 across midfield. Another catch for Shaq Evans, who had a big one in the first half. And a first down. RedBlacks on the move in Ticat territory.
Evans again using that waggle from out wide to jumpstart his route. And a reputation as a big play guy during his time with the Saskatchewan Roughriders before battling injuries a little bit.
Like Braylon Addison, great year in 2019, an all-star with the Riders. They were 2 of the top receivers in the CFL that year, and both had their injury problems. Simone Lawrence, who broke the 700 tackle plateau for his career on Monday against the Argos, came in with 704 and adds another tackle right there.
Yeah, the Hamilton Tiger Cats all-time leader in defensive tackles. There you see 704 and counting. Number of the Cats since 2013.
A full decade, the face of that franchise. Started with Edmonton at a season there, but ever since with Hamilton. Crum takes off, and Leonard getting low on him. what comes out. A flag comes out afterwards. As Crum lost his hat, and Leonard's wondering what exactly this call is all about. As Crum gets ready to go back to work.
You see kind of a glancing shot there. Nick Cross in pursuit was up high on the tackle.
Yeah, I said low, but that was shoulder pad to thigh on the hit by Leonard on Crum. A flag came out later. You see Nick
Major
Cross.
foul, face mask. Hamilton, number 39. 15-yard penalty, first down.
The penalty to Cross, and the Red Blacks, via penalty, now have the ball inside the Ticat 30.
Yeah, and just as he reaches to make the tackle, you see the left hand came across the face mask of the Red Blacks quarterback. So Ottawa will get a boost. The question is, can they take advantage of it?
Crum with 3 carries for 27 yards. First and 10 at the Ticat 29. They set up a screen to Williams. Little straight arm, and he keeps going. Devontae Williams stays in bounds. And I believe it was the one he dished out the straight arm to, Simone Lawrence, who ended up coming back and taking him down. But another great pickup by Devontae Williams.
Yeah, Devontae Williams has been the most impressive Ottawa performer so far. But watch Ted Laurent, defensive tackle, sniffs this one out. He knows what's coming when his blocker lets him go, but just isn't able to get out there in time to make a play. Terrific straight arm there by Devontae. Added a few more pounds this past offseason by adding more carbs to his diet.
Gain of 15 there. Back to Williams. Jukes his way around, cuts back inside, and gets it down inside the 10, close to the 5-yard line.
And you heard the panel discussion at halftime. So much discussion of how Ottawa's play calling and offensive style should take advantage of the edge they have in terms of rest coming into this game. Going no huddle or tempo, playing a physical game, running the football. And you would think, given the success that Devontae Williams has had, again, he has been their most noticeable offensive player. The run game makes a ton of sense.
Well, we've seen this before in this game. Down inside the 10 again for the 3rd time this game. Still without a touchdown. First down and goal. Or second down and short, excuse me. Now first and goal, and the carry there by Williams, who just had to get about a yard and got it inside the 5. So now first and goal. And recall in the first quarter late, when they had a first and goal from the 1 and 3 cracks at it, they could not punch it in.
Yeah, not nearly enough to show for their trips into this part of the field so far.
And where they spot the football, the yard marker, no, they actually say it's 3rd down, just inches. All he has to do is lean forward. It should easily be enough now. Where they spotted it before, had it inside the 5, and looked it to be enough. So here's what happened before. 3 cracks at getting into the end zone. Ticat defense standing strong.
Yeah, and so often there's an instinct to do the simplest thing, go quarterback sneak and dives up the middle and so on. And obviously those are things that are going to be a part of your short yardage offense. But I am a believer in this league on a 65-yard wide field that even sometimes when you only need to get a yard or 2 yards, sometimes you still got to use more of the width of that field to get the job done. Be creative.
Up front inside, Mason Bennett, Ted Laurent, Casey Sales. First and goal at the Hamilton 3. 3-2-1, touchdown. Antti Milanovic-Litre. Not used very often. Had a big game in Calgary several weeks ago. That is his 3rd touchdown of the season, and a big one it is for the Red Blacks, who have now taken the lead and finally found the end zone.
Yeah, Milanovic-Litre came in tonight with 11 carries, 2 touchdowns. Many of his touches have been in these short yardage type situations. He continues to get the job done. Simon Fraser product. Previously spent time with Calgary and last season in Edmonton.
Had a couple of touchdowns against the Stampeders and a crazy overtime win by Ottawa. That was back in week 7. Here in week 14, Litre, touchdown, RedBlacks leading it by 4. Nine plays, 82 yards, and 5 minutes, 21 seconds capped off by that man, Eddie Milanovic-Litre.
Yeah, getting to the edge a little bit this time in short yardage. He bounces that one off tackle, finding a much easier path across the goal line. Huge touchdown for Ottawa here in the third quarter.
Well, that time they got to the doorstep and they got into that end zone. First touchdown of this game, and the RedBlacks have the lead for the first time in this game with the kickoff taken down by Tyreek McAllister. Close to the 34. Third and final meeting of the season between these teams. Eddie Milanovic-Litre. Well, he gets a touchdown, then he goes back on teams. Man of many skills, including this one too. His RedBlacks have a 4-point lead. Among the fans at TD Place tonight are many brave firefighters. This is National Firefighter Memorial Weekend here in the nation's capital. As you take a look at this memorial here with more and a special guest, here is Claire Hanna.
Thank you very much, Rod. And the Canadian Firefighter Memorial Ceremony is going to be taking place on Sunday. And I'm joined now by David Sheen, who is the president of the Canadian Fallen Firefighters Foundation, a former fire chief. And David, what is this ceremony commemorating on Sunday?
So this year it's commemorating the 88 names that were added to our memorial wall. And we brought families in from right across the country to be a part of this, to honor and remember their loved ones and provide support to them through the foundation and our activities.
And David, we've seen how devastating the firefighters have been this year in Yellowknife, across BC, and I understand that there's a special connection with those fires that have been fought and Sunday.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, the Canadian Wildland Firefighters are our honorary hosts this year, so they're an integral part of making this weekend reality for our loved ones, our families.
And I also understand 80% of firefighters are volunteers. Just can you talk about, how heroic they are?
Well, any firefighter, I really believe that the most heroic thing they do is sign up for the job, knowing that they could put their life on the line at any time.
Thank you so much, David.
Thanks, Claire.
Thank you, Claire. Meanwhile, on the field, what looked like a fumble being ruled as such by James Butler. Didn't know if he was down or not there, but the ball comes out and the RedBlacks have it.
And we'll take a look here, try to tell exactly where that ball pops out. To me, it looks like he's down.
Yeah.
Before that ball is out. The call on the field, as you said, was a fumble. It took some time.
Previous play is under review by the command center.
Yeah, this should be a real short review.
Another look there, and just a footnote to what Claire Hanna was talking about in that interview as we do look at whether or not this was a fumble, but just such a devastating year as well, thinking of just the losses, the national firefighters in this country, and here for a memorial service on Sunday. Rolando Steinauer awaiting word if this will be overturned and given back to the Tiger Cats, as it appears, yes, Butler heading back out onto the field. The offense does stay on.
After review by the command center, the runner was down by contact. It'll be second down.
Little bullet dodge there for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. As you saw, clearly the right call.
Right at the 35. Close to 10 yards. Call it a 2nd and 9 for Taylor Powell. To the second down conversions too for the Ticats in this one. Trailing in this game for the first time. Throwing deep over the middle and wide open is Tim White. And Justin Howell can't take him down, and he finally is tackled deep in the Ottawa zone, down near the 10. Just the explosive play the Ticats need after a near turnover. Sherrod Baltimore finishing off that tackle of White, and Lorenzo Malden, who we had just heard from at halftime, is the injured Red Black player way back near the Ticat 30.
Watch Tim White. He's the trail receiver here. He and Godwin are lined up into that boundary side coming out of a stack. Double move, gets White, fakes the in, goes deep. You could see Taylor Powell just as he started to step up into the pocket. Looked like he was going to run with the football. It turned into a great running throw to give him some momentum to push that one deep. Spotted White in behind the Ottawa defense.
Sorry, Dwayne, a 64-yard catch and run there for Tim White. As the Ticats look to quickly answer after the Red Blacks touchdown, Malden, top defensive player in the CFL in 2022, is forced to take a break at a critical point for this Ottawa defense. The Red Black 11. Here come the Ticats suddenly. Powell, pressure, end zone, and the closest to it was Red Black safety Justin Howell, with White the intended receiver again, but it falls incomplete.
Yeah, the Red Blacks just outnumbered the Tiger Cats at the line of scrimmage. See Hamilton get it blocked up to the front side, but Bryce Carter. Quick move into the backfield.
The sacks leader on the Red Blacks with 6 coming into this game. Big second down now from the Ottawa 11. Ticats trailing by 4. Powell off to the right. McAllister! And a touchdown for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Answering right back and retaking the lead. 11-yard touchdown, Powell to McAllister.
And McAllister, who's been busy here tonight, slips out into that flat. And with the reach, gets it past the pylon. Good play again, McAllister, a guy they just try to get in space and let him go to work.
Second receiving touchdown of this first season for Tyreek McAllister, with Mark Leggio converting. And once again, just like that, the Ticats storm down the field with a big play to Tim White, and they retake the 3-point lead. Neither team could find the end zone in the first half. They each have now in the third quarter. Steinauer likes that. '25-year-old Tyreek McAllister out of Charleston with another CFL touchdown in this first year, and this one puts the Ticats back up by 3.
Again, McAllister just from his slot position, just quick release into the flat. Get his head around in a hurry. The defender is going to be playing with inside leverage in that territory, so a quick throw. You're likely not going to get a play on the ball. With McAllister's speed, he's able to outrun Brooks to the pylon.
Also a very good special teamer, returner, leading the CFL in kickoff return average, but this is Tobias Harris on this kick return for Ottawa, as Harris is ultimately taken down there by Nick Cross and Sean Thomas Erlington, so back comes the Ottawa offense.
And McAllister is the man to watch here, lined up in the slot. He's just going to shoot out to the flat, get his head around in a hurry. Quick throw. Defender's frozen by that inside stab. Again, he's playing inside leverage. He's going to defend his inside first. The fake to the inside is going to get the defender flat-footed for that split second.
This team, can't say it enough, coming off 3 days rest. They just played on Monday, 4 days ago, at home against the Argos, lost that game. So back at it against a rested Red Black team, and they're leading it. And Ottawa wants to do something about that again. Last possession, they drove down for their first touchdown. That's a gain of 12 for Devontae Williams, who's had a busy night.
Yeah, this is a play that's almost a variation of a shovel pass. They're isolating the defensive end, Jonathan Kongbo. He's got to decide between staying inside or containing the quarterback. He goes with the quarterback, which opens up the lane to throw back inside to the running back, Devontae Williams.
Up to the Ottawa 50 now and a first down. With time. Deep ball. Receiver in behind two, but it's too far. Justin Hardy just barely getting in behind coverage, but we have a late flag coming out in the Ottawa backfield.
Major foul, roughing the passer. Hamilton, number 44. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So it was incomplete, but Casey Sales, that play on Crum will give Ottawa another first down.
Take a look here. Sales coming on the loop. And a shot at the back that was probably the effects of which were exaggerated by the fact that someone else was around Crum's feet.
So 15 yards, moves him across midfield and down to the 45 of Hamilton. Red Blacks, Devontae Williams breaks free and is still going. Got away from Jameer Thurman, who couldn't quite get a handle on him, and a lot of yards after that. And another first down, Red Blacks on the move, a pickup of 19.
Keep feeding the rock to Devontae Williams. He looks like he's just playing at a different speed than the Hamilton defense tonight. I'm not sure if this is maybe the one aspect of this football game in which we're seeing the effects of fatigue for Hamilton playing on 3 days rest.
And not just the 3 days rest, but quite a disparity too. The Red Blacks coming off a bye, 11 days off and breaking free. Lots of energy in this guy, Williams, getting it down close to the 10 before he is tackled there by Katsantonis. So the Red Blacks had a touchdown. The Ticats answered right back, and now the Red Blacks are answering back. 15 more yards for Williams.
Yeah, and you see Devontae Williams run it again. Keep running it until they stop him.
Fresh legs.
Yeah, no question. He has been explosive for the Ottawa RedBlacks here tonight.
Down to the Hamilton 11. 13-10, Ticats lead. Crum off the fake, keeps it. Tries to get inside the 10. A flag comes out. Simone Lawrence down tackling Crum, and you can just see that flag fly in.
Yeah, it'll be a hold against Ottawa. So they're trying to pin the Cats to the inside to allow Crum to break contain. A called quarterback run. You see Justin Hardy. It's going to come top to bottom on your screen, left to right for the offense. Fake there, and they're trying to get around the outside.
Holding, Ottawa number 45. That penalty is declined. Second down.
So it registers as another tackle for Simone Lawrence, taking down Crum for next to no gain. 2nd and 9 coming up. They choose to decline it. So instead of a 1st and 20, a 2nd and 9. Right at the Ticat 10. Under 5 minutes to go until three-quarter time. Blitz is coming. Crum, he can't get it away. Katsantonis charging in. Thurman taking Crum down, but a flag is out again in the Red-Black backfield. And this time going against Hamilton. They have marched it off down to the 5.
Major foul, roughing the passer, Hamilton number 30. Half the distance of the goal, automatic first down.
Free safety, Stavros Katsantonis came free up the middle on the blitz. You're going to see him coming from depth here into your screen. Comes up the middle. Got caught trying to jump, looking to block the pass, and then as he tried to recover, caught the face mask.
First and goal from the 5 for Ottawa. Faking. Knocked away at the line and nearly caught there by Williams after it was batted at the line of scrimmage.
The pass knockdown in this part of the field has to be shades of their last meeting for Dustin Crum in the Ottawa offense. This time it was Simone Lawrence. We mentioned earlier Casey Sales had a big pass knockdown to preserve the Tiger Cat victory late in that game.
That one thrown quickly, of course, right through Lawrence's arms just about. He got a piece of it, deflected it up. Nearly caught, second and goal. And Lawrence is coming in again. He's chasing Crum. Tries to get to the end zone. No, not quite. Down to the 1, though. And Richard Leonard may be hurt. He was in on the tackle to save a touchdown.
Yeah, big collision there as Dustin Crum had broken into full sprint. Leonard came up, trying to make a play at the goal line, which he did. I think Leonard gets the brunt of a couple of big bodies. Crum's knee and that momentum of an oncoming Jameer Thurman as well.
So the field corner, the veteran Richard Leonard, remains down after that contact to prevent a touchdown by Dustin Crum. We'll take a break here at TD Place. Back after this. Good to see Richard Leonard of the Ticats able to get up and walk off the field, but this is what happened, Dwayne, moments ago.
Yeah, you'll see the collision combination of Crum and Thurman oncoming. Leonard, who only weighs about 175 pounds, throws his body in the way looking to make a tackle. And he makes that tackle but takes the worst of the collision, but certainly a relief to see him up and moving.
Tyrell Pigram denied 3 times in the first half in this situation, down to the 1 at a first to goal. Pigram, touchdown. On a 3rd and goal, Tyrell Pigram sees the RedBlacks punch it in that time and retake their lead.
This time, as opposed to the first half in a similar situation, watch how he slides to find a little bit of a bubble. Instead of jamming it up the middle into all the congestion, he attacks the soft spot. The RedBlacks get it into the end zone.
9 plays, 72 yards in 3:38. So couldn't get a touchdown from these teams in the first half, and now back and forth they go. Couple of touchdowns for the RedBlacks. All these consecutive possessions now with teams finding the end zone in a 16-13 lead. And waiting for the point after try, but waiting for the smoke to clear after the celebration.
Air quality concerns, Rod.
That's been topical as Lewis Ward puts it through. It certainly was very topical in Calgary. Those two teams, the Stampeders and Elks, get ready to meet again tomorrow in Edmonton. But another look at that touchdown drive. Another response by the RedBlacks.
Yeah, and this one was all about Devontae Williams, who has been an absolute monster for the Ottawa RedBlacks tonight. Couple of big runs move his teammate down close. Dustin Crum on the scramble sets him up on the goal line. And Tyrell Pigram, after being denied in the first half, gets it done here in the second.
And coming into that situation on a 3rd and goal gets it done, but that man, 105 yards on the ground, over 60 more through the air for Devontae Williams. Quite a night when the Redblacks really need it too. The ball now in their 30, and Richie Leone to kick it off. 17-13, 4-point lead. Redblacks back in front. Tyreek McAllister with the ball across the 30 and 35 as he is taken down. Rolling Stones, eh? You think they'll catch on?
I think the group has a chance.
Think so?
Yeah.
Look a little older.
Go somewhere.
I'm certainly not judging age. Mick Jagger, Rolling Stones, still rolling. Hamilton 38 now. This game, 3rd quarter, it is, we'll say this, it has constantly been close. On the ground again for Butler, and coming in, Javon Santos-Knox, who used to be the Ticats middle linebacker. Another big play against the rush for Ottawa's defense.
Yeah, Santos-Knox doing everything in his power to make life miserable for the Cats. Here tonight, he's been active from his middle linebacker spot. Trying to contain that man, James Butler.
Not an old teammate, though. Butler was in BC last year. Santos-Knox with Hamilton. He knows a lot of those players. 2nd and 12, 2-yard loss after that play by Santos-Knox. Ticats. On that 2nd and long, Taylor Powell loses the football, and it is picked up by the right guard, Calderwood-Manzi. So big guy gets a chance to get a couple of yards after the pickup as well, but still a 3rd down is coming up.
Yeah, quick reaction there from Woodmansey to scoop and go. But most importantly, allowing the Cats to maintain possession.
Oh,
he was one guy away.
Every time an offensive lineman, and see Blessman Dahala laugh there for the play that they made, but the CO lineman get a chance to carry the football, even for a couple of yards. 3rd down. Kari Vedvik inside the 25 now. So Ottawa will get the ball back with a 4-point lead late in the 3rd quarter. Brandon Dandridge at the 30. Keeps his feet, but not for long. As the Ticats have that covered on special teams after a 47-yarder. But yeah, Bless Mandala back in the lineup for Ottawa and making it happen there.
Yeah, Ta'ala, 1st overall pick in this year's global draft, University of Hawaii product. And a big part of that D-line rotation.
And back to the tablet for Taylor Powell. Dustin Crum, 8th CFL start. 1st year out of Kent State. The Ottawa 35. And back to Williams, just adding to his totals for the night. What a busy man he's been, and productive too.
Offensively, he has been the story of this game for Ottawa, and especially here in the 3rd quarter. That last scoring drive kind of took the Redblacks on his back.
In his 2nd year out of Southeastern Louisiana, Devontae Williams. Indiana before that. 2nd and 7. Pressure, just gets it away. Oh, there was some heat coming in, bearing down on Crum. Just got rid of the football. And a 3rd down, Ottawa's going to have to punt it away.
Yeah, some confusion in terms of the blitz pickup here. If you watch Devontae Williams from the backfield, he and the left tackle, Dino Boyd, look like they both end up going for the same man.
And that was Chris Edwards, the strong side linebacker, the nickel linebacker, coming in on that blitz and just about got to Crum before he got rid of him. Richie Leone, leading punter by base and net average in the CFL. And McAllister doesn't have too far to go there. Kevin Francis, a part of the special teams coverage after a 57-yard punt by Richie Leone. And it is three-quarter time. We're waiting for touchdowns in this game. We got them in the third quarter, 3 of them, 2 of them belonging to the RedBlacks. And they have the lead heading into the final 15. Here are the numbers through 3 quarters, and the RedBlacks now on top, 17-13. And, well, I'll just say it, not to make any excuses for Hamilton, but 3 days of rest compared to 11, you'd expect Ottawa to be the fresher-looking team, especially as the game goes on. And I think that was the case in the third quarter.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens here in the fourth, obviously, but I'm not sure if it's necessarily the entire Ottawa team, but certainly Devontae Williams looks like he used the 11 days rest very well, because he's a guy who looks like he's had a little extra jump in his step here tonight.
Of course, the RedBlacks have had their chances, as I say earlier, and couldn't cash in. They really need to hang on if they want to get really back into that race. I mean, they're only 2 points behind, but the Ticats already won the season series. They would have a tiebreaker should these teams remain tied in the standings later. And after tonight, we're 2/3 of the way through this regular season. Important, especially for Ottawa. Airing it out deep for White again. Tim White. Well, Hamilton did that in the third quarter. It ended up being a touchdown for the Ticats to retake their lead. So they're trying to go to that script again, and so far so good for the Ticats.
Yeah, and watch the adjustment to the football here by Tim White. In the air, not a big guy, but just a little cut in at the last second. Boxes out the defender. Goes up and gets this one. Massive play for number 12.
47 more yards, some big plays with Taylor Powell and Tim White to keep the Ticats in this as they very quickly move into the Ottawa zone at the RedBlack 38. Rolling out to the right. And no. Off the shoestrings there. Felix Garangoche cannot hang on to it. It was would have been a tough catch down low for him. Second down.
Yeah, drop there, but also a pretty well defended bootleg by Ottawa as we take a look at the numbers for Tim White. Guy who has established himself once again over the last few seasons as the Ticats' go-to guy.
Look at those numbers. 5 catches, 155 yards, the longest of 64. Just had that 47-yarder. And he had over 110 yards receiving on Labor Day Monday. Back to work. And this time it is the new Ticat receiver Omar Bayless. Been with the team all season, but this is his first time getting touches as a receiver. He was a special teamer back in week 1.
And you mentioned Bayless, 2019 Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year at Arkansas State. Year before, he was a teammate in that receiving corps of BC Lions, Justin McInnes.
Gain of 14. The Ottawa 24. A look to the left, down near the end zone. Coverage is there on Tim White, on Terry Godwin, who wanted a flag. Brandon Dandridge with him.
Well, giving Godwin a chance to go to work with a whole lot of space. He's the only receiver isolated on that side of the field. Dandridge running in, just running with him, maintains perfect position, gets his head around. Well, Godwin, I'm sure, wasn't happy about that right arm reaching across maybe a little early.
At the 24, second down. Powell running out of time but running away. Gets rid of it on the move and completes it again to Bayless. Inside the 10, and another catch for Omar Bayless. It'll be a 1st and goal coming up here for Hamilton.
The Hamilton Tiger Cats continue to show all kinds of fight in this ball game. As I'm sure many are waiting for this team that played on Monday to run out of gas. Orlando Steinauer never one to make excuses or give his team an opportunity to do the same.
Maybe I spoke too soon about their energy in the second half. They seem to be just fine now, thank you. Picking it up, getting inside. First and goal at the Ottawa 7. Butler, and he's met there by Santos Knox. Bryce Carter, driven back. Second and goal coming up.
Santos Knox, who missed the first part of the season while recovering from an injury, has certainly emerged as a big addition to this Ottawa defense. Real presence in the middle, providing experience, providing leadership, in addition to his production from that MLB spot.
Started his career in Winnipeg, went to Edmonton and then Hamilton before signing with Ottawa. This is first year. There you go, Tim White. Touchdown, Tiger Cats. Powell and White combine again. Hamilton, on 3 days rest, leads again.
Taylor Powell all fired up on the sidelines. You can see White on the very left side of your screen. Quickly out to the flat. And just a quick hitter here. Ball is on its way to White before the defense has much of an opportunity to react in coverage.
So the fifth lead change in this game. Mark Leggio for the point after. Up and through it goes. Once again, it is the Ticats leading by a field goal. They're answering touchdown for touchdown now. 7 plays, 85 yards, 3:51 taken off the clock. What a night for White from Powell. Touchdown, Cats. He had a slow start to the season, but Tim White has been so productive lately. On Monday, and then how about tonight? 160 yards receiving, and just scored a touchdown to put the Ticats in the lead again.
And this combination of Taylor Powell to Tim White becoming increasingly prolific. You mentioned that slow start to the season. As it opened the year getting used to a new quarterback in Bo Levi Mitchell. Then Mitchell goes down. Matthew Schultz comes into the lineup. Schultz goes down. Taylor Powell comes into the lineup. But now that there's been some continuity at that position, it seems like White is really finding his stride.
Not done yet.
I said Taylor Powell that his most productive game so far in his young career on Monday. Got a chance of outdoing that in terms of pass yardage. He's at 287. 2 touchdowns, no picks. Taylor Powell has only thrown 1 interception in now close to 4 games. And White, 6 catches, 160 and a touchdown. And this is CFL himself, Carthel Flowers-Lloyd, the special teams tackles leader. And he came in with 20, leading the way, picks up 1 there.
Yeah, he was held off the stats sheet on Labor Day Monday, so anxious to get in on the action here today.
RedBlacks down. Off to the left is Crum. Rolls out and completes that one. And that's Marco Dubois. Seldom does he get a chance, but he does have a touchdown earlier. Scored the first offensive touchdown of the season for the RedBlacks way back against Edmonton, week 4, receiving end there.
And Powell had the defense completely fooled as he pulled the ball on that bootleg. It's rough when you're a fullback, and you got a fan club and nobody's sitting there.
The Dwayne Ford fan club was full. Another completion. That's Jalen Ackland picking up the catch and getting it down to the Hamilton 50. And there was a good contingent to support Dwayne Ford in his time with, well, mainly Calgary, but
revisionist history, I think, Mr. Smith.
You had a stop in Hamilton, Argos too, Winnipeg. Dubois, product of Laval, like so many in that program, coming out and playing in the CFL. He too has had a productive night. Devontae Williams down to the 35 and a first down to pick up a 14 more yards for him. Came into that carry with 108.
As this second half has kind of turned into the Devontae Williams versus Tim White battle of the highlights. Williams and the RedBlacks carving out some big chunks of yardage with that ground game.
Williams is over 190 combined yards in this game. Doesn't add much to it there. Simone Lawrence adds to his tackle total as he takes him down after a couple of yards. We have a second and long coming up here. 7 still to go. Braylon Addison coming into the game.
Addison continuing to work his way back after a couple of injury-riddled seasons in Hamilton.
Back and forth they go.
Yeah, so good to see him back on the field.
Absolutely. Second down, off to the left. Does he control it going down? They're saying a catch, and a brilliant one by Nate Bahar.
And Nate Bahar has really found a home back here in Ottawa, where he played his college football for the Carleton Ravens, originally the 5th overall pick in 2017 by Edmonton.
What a terrific catch by Bahar, who had a stretch in those 2 overtime wins over Winnipeg then Calgary of 18 catches for nearly 200 yards, and then went cold with only 6 catches in the next 4 games. Missed last week with an Achilles injury. Breaking free, Williams again. 10, 5, down to the 2. What great running for Devontae Williams. And we've got another RedBlacks first and goal.
It looked like this one might be in jeopardy at the line of scrimmage, but Devontae Williams just keeps running his way out of trouble. A fantastic effort tonight by the Ottawa RedBlacks running back.
Crum keeps it. And no. Down around the 2, might have got a yard. Second and goal coming up.
Yeah, deep in scoring territory. Nothing has come easily for the Ottawa RedBlacks tonight.
Crum stays in. Crum has the Ottawa touchdown. The 5th rushing touchdown of the season for Dustin Crum. Then another lead change. That's number 6 on the night.
That time over top of the left tackle, Dino Boyd. And he goes. Ottawa up by 3. Lewis Ward on, hoping to make it 4.
High snap. Lewis Ward up and through. Leone with the hold. Crum with the drive. Aided by an offense that paved the way for Devontae Williams and some brilliant running, and then Crum the touchdown. Bob Dice. His team leads again. TSN. Big one for Detroit Lions last night in Kansas City. Big one for Dustin Crum and that Ottawa RedBlack team as they keep coming back after falling behind, and lead change number 6 as the Ticats down by 4 again. Tyreek McAllister taken down at the 37. Tim White, he too has had an incredible game. What do the Ticats have left next? We got our first triple header of the year and a Super Saturday coming up on the CFL on TSN tomorrow, starting with the Owls and Argos in Toronto. An Argo win and they clinch a playoff spot. Can also improve to 10-1. Riders Bombers, it's the Banjo Bowl, and it's always fiery to begin with, that much more given the events of the Labor Day meeting, and then you got the rematch rematch in Alberta after that dramatic game with the Elks and the Stamps from Edmonton. All tomorrow on TSN. Flags galore with the snap of the football in the hands of Taylor Powell, but no chance to run a play there.
Procedure. Hamilton, number 59. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
It's the new right tackle, actually back with the Ticats, as Dwayne mentioned. He was there a couple of years ago. Jordan Murray went to the NFL last year and then back now as they have dealt with injuries. Brandon Kemp, the latest offensive lineman to get hurt. Six minutes to go. Very different second half. Lots of touchdowns. Powell, that's complete. Coming across is McAllister, taken down at the 37.
Frankie Griffin. Another previously injured player returning to that Ottawa defense. Playing the weak side linebacker spot. Ottawa had shifted him to that spot last year. He's really made it his own.
That was on a 1st and 15, a pickup of 4, so a 2nd and 11 coming up now. For Powell. Blitz coming, gets rid of it. Quickly off to Bayless, who gets it up to the 47, still shy of a Hamilton first down. Had to get to the 48.
You're going to see Powell's got to get this ball out quickly with the blitz coming. Bayless makes the grab. He's slow to get up.
Still down on the field now, getting some attention. Douglas Coleman, great story he's been on that Ottawa defense. They dealt with tons of injuries this season as well. One of their top defensive players at that nickel linebacker spot.
You see the production from Coleman. Converted defensive back, playing that nickel spot. Got off to a terrific start to the season. Getting after quarterbacks. You see him still with 4 sacks, 3 tackles for loss. Among the numbers that jump out.
And had that fumble recovery in Saskatchewan that gave them a chance to win that game. And that was one of many dramatic finishes. They've had some victories, but they've had dramatic losses as well, including that one to the Rough Riders. Coming in with only 3 wins. For Bob Dice, a record of 3-8, and 5 straight losses after those dramatic overtime wins over Winnipeg here and then in Calgary to get them to 3-3, and no victory since then, and they desperately need one to tie the Ticats in the standings, even though Hamilton has already won the season series, but to stay in the race as Bayless limps off. This is first start at receiver. His 2nd game with the Ticats was a special teamer back in week 1 in Winnipeg. Scored a touchdown in that game, as mentioned earlier. And has had a few catches in this one. 4 catches for 53 yards to be specific, but that one sees him hobble off. Got activated with the injury to Duke Williams on Monday against the Argos. 5:04 on the clock. 3rd and 1. Taylor Powell stays in. Handing off to Butler. Needs that yard. Backs his way through and looks like he'll have enough. Right at the 48. Again, looks close.
And this was not a gimme. It was close to 2 yards that Hamilton needed to pick up here.
He's got enough for a first down. Hamilton,
Butler knifing his way through the line.
You don't often see a play like that in short yardage anymore, do you? Got it up near the 49. First down. Ticats down 4. 4:18. And it's a sweep to White. Very quickly. Shot out to the left and around the corner for another Hamilton first down.
Now, the receiver runs have been a big part of the Hamilton offensive scheme. Tommy Condell was their offensive coordinator. Haven't necessarily seen quite as much in the last couple games under Scott Milanovic. Tim White doing an excellent job getting involved there.
There he is, recently appointed offensive coordinator, replacing Tommy Condell less than a month ago, and working a lot with Taylor Powell. And we've talked extensively to Powell about his reaction to working with Milanovic, who has the reputation working well with young quarterbacks, and he's enjoyed that relationship. Powell doesn't mind a coach giving him the criticism that he needs. He welcomes it. He hands off here to Powell Butler on first down. Down to the 40. Little flex there again for Javon Santos-Knox.
Santos-Knox has been very vocal, talking to his former team out there tonight.
We heard Lorenzo Malden talking to Claire about and it's his second year with Ottawa and still facing the old club. It matters. And this is Santos-Knox's first chance. He was injured earlier on in the previous 2 games against Hamilton. First time against his old club. Under pressure, getting away is Powell. He will take off 40, 35, 30, still going. He found more space down there when it looked like he might head out of bounds. Why not? He just kept going.
Yeah, I think the Ottawa defense relaxed. Everybody thought he was going to head out of bounds. Powell felt like no one was pursuing him, so he kind of turns this one north-south right at the end as all the defenders are throttling down.
And he ends up with 20 yards. Here's some frustration from the Ottawa side on that one as they get it down to the 20. So here we go again. Proverbial back and forth in the second half between these two. Trading blows up and down the field. 4-point Ottawa lead. They've had that a couple of times before. But the Ticats have managed to come back and take the lead again. And we're getting down to 3-minute time. Another play in the 3-minute warning should be coming out. And still a 1-score game. It's been close all game. Ticats taking the timeout before the 3-minute break.
Well, points were so hard to come by for both of these teams through the first half of this ball game.
A total of 9, 3 field goals. That was it. It was 6-3 at the half for Hamilton. And then they started trading the touchdowns.
That turned it into a little bit of a track meet here in the second half.
And that man's been running. Devontae Williams, 16 carries for 142 yards. And also, through the air, he's their leading receiver with 4 catches for 69 as well. What does Hamilton have next? Ticats back into the lead.
Well, Taylor Powell through 6 starts. This young man has come a long way. Look at the confidence with which he throws this ball, and Tim White just elevates over the D to go get it.
Before Monday's game, Taylor Powell had 2 touchdown passes. The point after from Leggio. Well, he had 3 for touchdowns on Monday and 3 more in this one. 6 in the span of 4 days, and we're not done yet. We're heading into the final 3 minutes of a crazy game, as it turns out. Ticats now up again by a field goal. This combination of Taylor Powell with that man, Tim White, is working some magic in this night. This is touchdown connection number 2.
And it starts off looking like it's going to be kind of a corner route and then gets flattened off a little bit with the throw as Powell knows help is coming from the inside. As they flatten it off, he throws it more to the sideline. So Douglas Coleman's not able to get over there to help out because of where Powell places the throw, where White breaks off that route. Nice adjustment based on what they see to complete that pass.
One of the better games, I'm sure, of Tim White's career.
Well, White over 100 yards for the 3rd time in 4 games.
Which leads us to our Coors Light moment of chill and another guy having one of the games of his life. And Devontae Williams.
Yeah, Williams has been terrific from the get-go in this ball game. Just looked like he's had an extra gear compared to everyone else on the field. Particularly here in the second half. And you got to imagine the Red Blacks are going to be counting on him in this final 3 minutes.
We assume he'll eventually get his moment of chill. Certainly not right now. His team down a field goal. They need more of them. They're getting it too. Few more yards. 17th carry. He's over 140 yards on the night.
Yeah, over 140 on the ground, over 200 overall. Career night for Devontae Williams.
That offense has steadily been answering back in the second half, and they need to again. 2:37, 3-point game. Hamilton leading and coming in quickly was Jameer Thurman, and Crum did get it away for Jalen Ackland, but incomplete. And a 3rd down is coming up, 3rd and 6.
And Ottawa's going to have to punt the ball and put their faith in their defense here to get it back for them with enough time to mount another drive.
Jameer Thurman, former Stampeder who took the spot of Javon Santos Knox in the middle of that Hamilton defense, charging in and forcing Richie Leone now onto the field to punt it away for Tyreek McAllister standing at the 25. So this is a big opportunity for the Ticats now to see if they can drive and add to their lead. McAllister. You can't downplay the importance of this game to Ottawa in particular. 4th in the East, 2 points behind the Ticats. And Hamilton has won the season series, so in the event they're tied in the standings at the end of the season, Hamilton gets the first tiebreaker.
Yeah, I mean, this is the playoffs before the playoffs, and you'll talk about the Hamilton-Ottawa matchup. Ottawa trying to get themselves into position in that race, but you're also keeping an eye on Calgary and Edmonton over in the West. Getting into potential crossover position.
You'd have to assume the Stampeders would prefer a red-black victory to keep Hamilton at 4 wins. That's where the Stamps are, with a rematch coming up in Edmonton tomorrow. It's Butler trying the left side, and he finds some space before he is hauled down. The weak side linebacker Frankie Griffin back in the lineup for Ottawa after missing time with a head injury. Takes him down at the 40. And Butler is slow to get up.
Yeah, trying to get this one to the outside. Butler skips away from Bryce Carter there, but next level, Frankie Griffin comes up with authority.
3-yard pickup for Butler, who heads off for a breather. 2:17 on the clock. Ottawa needs the ball back, or at the very least, to get it close enough for Lewis Ward. These teams, though, not settling for field goals in the second half. Lots of touchdowns after only 9 points were put on the board in the first 30. From the 40-yard line, 2nd and 7 for Powell. Over the middle, it's complete. Coming across, there is Godwin. Tries to fight for a little bit more yardage. He is shy of a first down by about 2. So with it at just across their 45, a 3rd down and short coming up here.
Godwin just working his way underneath. In that spot, he's going to need to break a couple of tackles. Does his best, but
Now, there was a bit of a discussion in the Hamilton sideline for Orlando Steinauer. Ultimately, the punting unit and Corey Vedvik does come on because it's third and a good 2. And as you say, putting the faith in the defense. This is now what the Ticats do. Assuming they go ahead and punt it away.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be making any assumptions anymore. You never know.
The Ottawa defense doing well to not give Hamilton much in terms of improving their field position before forcing the punt here. As Ottawa obviously looking for as short a field as possible as they try to march for the tying or winning points.
Brendan Dandridge is back for the punt from Vedvik, the global player from Norway, was with the Saskatchewan Roughriders until being traded away a few weeks ago. And a good punt that kicks back inside off a red-black player, and Dandridge has to pick that thing up in a hurry. Live ball, and just back close to the 10 after a 45-yard punt by Vedvik.
Yeah, knowing how dangerous Dandridge can be, I like the strategy there from Hamilton special teams coordinator Jeff Reinbold, punting it to the wide side. Usually you punt to the short side for coverage reasons, only covering that side of the field, so the returners cheated that way. They elect to punt to the wide side and get the ball on the ground, which is going to make it tougher for Ottawa to get a return, and you see the result.
Veteran special teams coach in this league, many years, former head coach as well, Jeff Reinbold. And the Ottawa 17 now. Getting late. Under 2 minutes, 1:43 for Crum, who steps up, who takes off, and who gets it up across the 25. A second and short coming up here for the RedBlacks after a gain of 8.
Yeah, good decision there for Dustin Crum with an opportunity to put his team in an advantageous second down position, presumably playing 3-down football at this point, so 2 cracks with just a couple yards needed.
They need 2 for the first down, and Braylon Addison, the ex-Ticat, does have it indeed across the 30 for a first down Ottawa.
A quick hitter here to the flat, head around. Addison appearing to keep that one off the turf.
Just getting the fingers underneath as that ball came down. Ottawa 31. Down 3. Quickly throwing again. Justin Hardy. That one up across the 40. Near another first down. Second and short coming up as they play tempo and get over the ball.
Yeah, it looks easy, but that's a big time catch by Justin Hardy, the defender on his back.
Just across the 40. Second and 1, and they're passing on it. And Crum loses the ball. And the Ticats have it. Ted Laurent was in there. Crum did not want to take the sack, of course, on a second and 1, but lost control of the football as he was trying to get away or thinking of getting rid of it. But the end result looks like a disaster for the Ottawa RedBlacks.
Well, we'll watch and see on the hit if there was contact up high. Like the first man through, Carney. Tough to see there exactly.
Now they're reviewing
if there was any head contact.
What a break this would be for the RedBlacks if this ends up being a penalty. Otherwise, it is Hamilton football with a chance to put this away, leading by 3. Bounces right into Ted Laurent. And you can see the danger Crum faced of being sacked when it was a 2nd and 1 play. A free play if they indeed don't lose yardage.
Yeah, and it's a situation I know people may look and go, it's 2nd and 1. Why didn't they just run or sneak and get the first down and go from there? But you're a little bit less worried about what the down and distance situation is than you are about the clock at this point in the game, and they're trying to get down the field in basically a minute at this point, and that's why they're thinking pass in that instance. So
they're just reviewing the contact Malik Carney made on Dustin Crum. A penalty or Hamilton football?
After review by the command center, the ruling on the field stands.
So Hamilton football. Carney making a play there, and Crum losing control of the ball. Ted Laurent recovers. Hamilton in great position now to come out of Ottawa with a victory and sweep the season series. 1:09 on the clock. They have a 3-point lead. The ball at the Red Black 31. Butler. Or excuse me, Sean Thomas Erlington now in for James Butler, who we saw was slow to get off the last time the Ticats had the ball, and inside the 30 for Thomas Erlington from the Montreal Carabins.
And just going back to that sack and fumble play with Dustin Crum, Malik Carney on the tackle. The interpretation on that play is that the initial contact wasn't around the head. Initial contact is on the shoulder pads, and then his arm slid up and contacted the helmet a little bit. The right interpretation, the right call on the field.
3 yards for Thomas Erlington, who has the ball again and is driving down close to a first down. Needed 7, getting down close to the 21, which is where he'd have to get to. And 39 seconds on the clock.
And Hamilton trying to eat up as much time as they can, using that ground game.
Orlando Steinauer, since taking over in 2019 as head coach of the Ticats, has never lost to the Ottawa RedBlacks. 9 games, 9 wins. The last time Ottawa beat Hamilton was in 2018 in the Eastern Final here, going on to face Calgary in the Grey Cup. The last regular season win a month earlier in October of 2018, and that streak is about to continue as they get in their victory formation now. Taylor Powell puts it down. What a game for him and Tim White, and the big plays by their defense to keep them in it in the first half when the Red Blacks a couple of times were knocking on the door.
And this is the challenge for Ottawa in terms of playoff position. This loss will drop them to 0-6 against East Division competition. Those head-to-head games, 4-pointers, if you will, that they haven't been able to win any of those.
So that's it. The Hamilton Tiger Cats have now beaten the Ottawa RedBlacks 10 straight times under Orlando Steinauer. And how many times have we said it about Ottawa in some close games, what might have been for the RedBlacks, but no. And they stay at 3 wins. Dwayne, as you talk about, and playoff hopes, even at the 2/3 point of the season, looking very slim now as that 3rd and final playoff spot in the East, which would be Hamilton at this point, and they now are 4 points ahead.
Yeah, it's a tough road, obviously, ahead for Ottawa. 4 games against the East, but that's against the top 2 teams. Toronto, 2 against Toronto, 2 against Montreal. A tough route if they want to get back in this playoff picture.
So it is 6 straight losses for Bob Dice and the Ottawa RedBlacks. Meanwhile, for the Ticats, who won at BC Place 2 weeks ago and then had a tough week. Labor Day Monday against the Argos, and then this. They have won 2 of their past 3, and they improved to a record of 5-7, now 10 points in the standings. Slow start for the offenses, turning it around in the second half. Back and forth they went. What a night for Tim White and the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who win it. Thanks for watching Friday Night Football. SportsCenter's next with Tessa Bonham and Glenn Sheelan.
Yes, thank you, Rod. Welcome inside SportsCenter. This is Glenn. I am Tessa. We're going to get you caught up on a bunch of great sports stories that we have going on this fine Friday evening. But first, we're going to kick off with that CFL game that you just saw. Coming in, Hamilton won 9 straight against Ottawa, but they had lost 3 of the last 4. Ottawa not really faring much better, having lost 5 straight coming in.
And what a crazy week for Hamilton, playing on just 3 days rest. They played on Labor Day Monday, had 3 days off, and back on the field tonight, so they don't love the schedule makers for that, as Ottawa had 11 days off prior to this one. The RedBlacks coming in 2 points behind Hamilton in the East, and look who's in attendance. Tim Stützle, Thomas Chabot, among a group of senators in the House for this one. The RedBlacks have lost 9 straight to the Ticats, dating back to 2019. First quarter, Dustin Crum gets picked off. Later in the quarter, the RedBlacks with 3rd and goal. Tyrell Pigram, he gets stuffed. Pigram stopped 3 straight times from the 1-yard line. Ottawa trailed 6-3 at the break. Then it's time for the Frisbee Dogs to hit the field, putting on a show at halftime. This was probably more offense than we saw in the first 30 minutes of this football game, but it heated up in the second half. The RedBlacks turned the ball over 3 times in the first half, but here's their opening drive in the third quarter. Antti Milanovic-Litre rumbles in, makes it 10-6 Ottawa. Back come Hamilton, though. Taylor Powell to Tyreek McAllister. He dives in for the score. Hamilton goes up 13-10. Let's go back to Pigram. Stuffed 3 times from the 1-yard line in the first half. This time, he punches it in as Ottawa goes up 17-13 heading into the fourth. All sorts of lead changes. The Ticats coming up a loss to Toronto just on Monday. Powell to Tim White. That puts Hamilton back in front by 3. Meantime, Devontae Williams having a monster night for the RedBlacks. Over 200 total yards. How about this rush? Takes it inside the 5. Same drive moments later. Dustin Crum able to punch it in, and that gave Ottawa the 4-point lead with under 7 minutes to play. But later in the fourth, it's Powell going back to his favorite target. It's White, 20 yards to the end zone, perfectly thrown up there for him, and he hauls it in what would be the game-winning touchdown. That made it 27-24 for Hamilton. And that's where it would end. So 4 of the 5 Tiger Cat wins this season have come on the road. They end up sweeping the RedBlacks, taking all 3 meetings against them this season. Next up for Hamilton, a date with the Bombers next Saturday. Ottawa goes out west for their next game. That's against the Lions next Saturday. But with their take on what happened tonight in Ottawa, let's go down the hall to Kate and the CFL panel.
And alongside Dave Naylor, Jim Barker, Milt Stegall, and a crushing defeat for the Ottawa RedBlacks in that game. We, before the game, said this was one that Ottawa absolutely needed. You're coming off the bye. You're facing the Tiger Cats, who were on 3 days rest after their game against the Argonauts on Labor Day. But let's just give full credit, first of all, to the Hamilton Tiger Cats, because doing what they did to come to a different city after that really intense game on Monday, I mean, that is just a downright impressive win. So much better in the second half as well.
Absolutely. Ottawa off a bye, Hamilton on the short week, Hamilton on the road. It was an impressive performance, and they kept it close in the first half, and then in the second half, they opened up a bunch. And we saw the explosive plays with Tim White having a big night, the biggest night he's had certainly with Taylor Powell, for more than 180 yards. They found him down the field all time, and we saw consistency in Ottawa's problem in the secondary, giving up big plays. They've now given up 300-yard passing games to Caleb Evans, Trey Ford, and Taylor Powell in successive weeks. Any football game, if you win the explosive play contest and the turnover battle, as Hamilton did tonight, 4-0, you're going to win the football game. And, Jim, I can't think of a team that has a poorer ability to shine when the moment calls for it, whether it's offense or defense. We saw it all again from Ottawa tonight.
There's no question. I mean, again, kudos to Hamilton. This was a difficult situation. But in the fourth quarter, all they needed was one stop. All Ottawa needed to do was get him off the field once. And all they did was take it down the field every time. It was Hamilton took it down, then they get the ball back, and Jalen Ackland, their most reliable receiver, drops a pass. They missed field goals. They get the fumble sack that ends up losing, the final play in the game, and they give up 4 turnovers and get none. This team just can't seem to help itself, Mill.
Well, shout out to Hamilton, as you guys mentioned. I mean, 3 days, you come out and play a game like that, and you're able to win. Shout out to Coach O. He got those guys prepared, but Ottawa. and I said this before the game, if they lose this game, they are the worst team in the CFL. How could you disagree? They had 11 days off. You played a team who was tired, who would just get beaten up by the Toronto organized 3-day rest, and you allow them to come in here and beat you like that? It's not a good situation what's going on with the Ottawa RedBlacks right now. They have some decisions. I'm not talking about coach or anything like that, but they have to look at that personnel on the field and realize they don't have it right now. They got to make some changes. They got 6 games left. Are they going to make the playoffs? They're not going to make the playoffs. But they got to evaluate what they have.
6 games, every team they're playing over 500.
Yeah. Well, and you look at Hamilton. Ottawa started to take that game away in the third quarter. And we were all talking about, here comes the fatigue factor, right? Here it comes in the second half. They found the legs and bounced back. I mean, that was an absolute gut win for Hamilton.
They were doing the right things offensively. Vontae Williams had a great game, but they couldn't get off the field on defense.
That's exactly
when they needed it.
Oh, my goodness.
Whether it's getting off the field on defense or pounding them from the one, they couldn't do what they needed to do in the moment.
Hamilton's in the position now to get second place in the East. They're in the position.
Tremendous win by Hamilton. As we said, just a gutsy effort after coming off that Labor Day Classic. And Saturday, we've got ourselves a triple header. Can't wait. So we send it back to SportsCenter.
Well, we heard the panel talk about Tim White, a monster performance. Here he is standing by with Claire Hanna.
Well, Tim, it's been a very busy week for you and the Ticats. You get the win here tonight, but I gotta know, what was it like playing on just 4 days of rest in such a big game?
It felt good. Earlier I was interviewed and I said I wanted to play right after the game. So clearly that was a true statement, and I just have a lot of energy, and I thank God for that.
Clearly you've got a lot of energy. You had 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter alone. A huge game for yourself. Just how prepared did you come into this one?
Pretty prepared. You know, it was a short week, but I just put into my mentality that we weren't going to be denied. And I just know when my guys give me an opportunity, I try to make the play, especially in fourth quarter situations like that.
How have you seen the confidence of your quarterback, Taylor Powell, grown?
It's grown tremendously each week. You know, I feel like he's 6'5". I said he was 6'4" last week. He's about 6'5" right now. He keeps growing every time I see him.
Now, you have swept the season series against the Ottawa RedBlacks. It's put you in a really good position, you know, if you look at that playoff picture. How's this team feeling right now?
Feeling pretty good. You know, we have a lot of work to do. We got to get back to the basics and just continue to put this thing away.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, thank you.
Here's the rest of the Week 14 look in the CFL with the odds powered by FanDuel. Saturday's triple header begins with the Argos as the biggest favorite of the week hosting Montreal. The Bombers looking for revenge, 8.5-point home favorites against the Riders in the Banjo Bowl. And the Elks are favored for just the second time this year. They host Calgary to round out Week 14. All right, straight ahead on SportsCenter, we'll have plenty more Friday Night Football post-game reaction from our nation's capital. SportsCenter rolls on with Ticats quarterback Taylor Powell standing by with Claire.
Taylor, this game started off pretty defensively. A little quiet, if you would, in the first half. Just how did things change, especially for your offense in the second?
You know, I think it was a team game, man. Obviously we started out slow. They're a great defense, and we kind of had to figure out how to attack them, and you know, we figured it out in the second half, man. It's a full team effort.
Now, Tim White had a phenomenal week. Tonight, he had 180 yards just in receiving. Yeah, and I think 290 over the 2 games. Just what's the chemistry with you two been like?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's pretty easy to have play quarterback and you got a receiver like that, man. He's truly special, and he's a great person, first of all. He's a veteran in this league, and he makes my job really easy.
He said he felt like he had a lot of energy tonight. How do you think your team felt, just especially given the fact that you played on Monday?
I don't know if I would say that. I mean, you got to play with an edge, but it's been a long week. We had a quick turnaround. I'm really proud of our coaches for having a great game plan, proud of how our team responded right after a tough loss. Truly thankful for everybody, yeah.
When I talked to Bo Levi Mitchell before the game, he said that you're going to be the guy that leads this team to a playoff spot. When you hear a guy like that say something like that, how does that make you feel?
Man, coming from a Hall of Famer quarterback, you know, he's one of my best friends. He's one of my role models. I just hope to be half the player of him, man. And he's truly a team guy, man. And he's been through a lot, and for him to say that means a lot.
Well, congrats on the win. Thank you, Taylor.
Appreciate it. God bless.
Let's take an updated look at the CFL standings. The Tiger Cats now 5-7 on the year. You see they're inching closer to Montreal in that East Division. And the Owls will be in tough tomorrow They're taking on the Argos in Toronto. The RedBlacks, when they haven't made the playoffs since 2018, that year they made it all the way to the Grey Cup, but sitting here, as you see, at 3-9 on the year.
All right, new NSC. Here's RedBlacks head coach Bob Dice following their loss.
What emotions are you feeling right now after a setback against the Hamilton Tiger Cats?
Well, obviously frustrated, Tim. One of the things we talked about was making sure we finished, played physical, and had great focus. I think at times they did have all three of those things, but right now we're not a good enough team not to be focused and locked in at all times and not to finish. You see in the first half, we get first and goal at the 1, and if you want to be a physical team, you should be able to get the ball into the end zone. It's just that simple. Sometimes it comes down to want to, and winning the one-on-one battles in those situations, and the physicality. You got to move people and create space for the quarterback. Same time, when you don't get it, you would like your defense to hold them at that point, not let them march. You get a 2-and-out at that point, then make them punt, or maybe take a safety and put your offense in the field in good field position. So, it's frustration on those things. We're not a team that turns over the ball a lot. I thought we turned it over more so tonight than we have in the past, and I think it's another game with without a takeaway. And so, as I told them, we got to win in all three phases right now for us to be successful, and that didn't happen today.